Chapter 26. Suddenly there was a commotion from the pier. It didn't take long for Luo Bing to see a row of luxurious motorcades. The most dazzling of them is a thickened presidential car, with a gold-plated shell, and its massive size that is luxurious and heavy. Luo Bing swallowed while watching. The convoy stopped slowly, and a row of neat and serious men in black came out of the car, with a cold expression, holding the M416 in their hands, and scanning the surroundings. A little giant came down from the golden presidential car protected by the man in black. Right. It looks like a heavy little giant. Gold and. He was dressed in a white suit with bulging muscles and a dark golden cane in his hand. I didn't expect Jin Bing to actually come in person. This is not a good person to deal with. Hawkeye was not afraid of his voice being exposed, and explained to the headset like Luo Bing, this guy has not stopped training even after he became the king of the underworld. He will practice with a group of top fighters from all over the world every day, and every time he is 1 against 10, but each training session does not exceed 20 seconds, and the training opponents are also different. Dead and wounded. He can shatter a wall with a single punch, which sucks, but since Jin Bing has come in person, it means that this time the goods are unusual. Hawkeye thought for a while, and then said, act according to the situation. We will wait for Jin to walk away before making a move. Although it is a bit difficult to fight him one-on-one, I still have a little confidence, but he has too many men here. Okay, Luo Bing responded aloud. Daredevil also tapped the headset twice to show his understanding. The three waited patiently, but Jin didn't seem to want to leave. A cruise ship slowly approached from a distance and quickly approached the port. 2 or 3 people got off the ship. From Jin Bing's attitude, it seemed that the other party was only a small role in transporting goods. What really makes Kim unhappy are the boxes of cargo that are constantly being shipped out of the cabin. What's in there? Hawkeye frowned deeply, his vision was very blurry, although under his hard training, he had eagle-like eyesight, and the reason why his archery was so superb was also due to in this way. That logo looks familiar to me, Luo Bing said abruptly in a low voice. Can you see? Hawkeye asked in amazement. From a height, he can see very blurry. Geographically, his field of vision is better and closer than Luo Bing. Well, wait. I remembered, isn't that the logo of She Stark Group? Luo Bing was startled suddenly. S.H. Stark's munitions. Impossible, how could She Stark sell arms to the gang? Hawkeye categorically rejected. But that logo belongs to the She Stark Group. Did you steal it? Luo Bing was also very puzzled. Logically speaking, Mr. She Stark would not have done such a thing. Many people know he is a playboy, but no one mentions how much charity he does every year. Although the foundation of the arms business is not very clean, the She Stark Group is supported by the government, and his arms are only sold to the National Army. There must be something wrong with this. This matter involves the Stark Group, and I need to report to the organization. Hawkeye made a quick judgment. Then, he pressed the emergency roar button on his neck. However, what he was waiting for was a busy tone. Damn, the signal in this area has been isolated. There must be a problem with the car that just Jin and drove over. Now the signal can only be transmitted in this small area, Hawkeye said angrily. At this moment, a man in black quickly ran to Jin Bing's side and said something softly. Jin Bing's face became serious at first, and then he smiled again with a playful look on his face. Oh, it looks like a little bug got in there. I don't know where the little bug is. Jin Bing waved his hand, the port was blocked in an instant, and all the staff were on alert. The searchlights began to sweep away continuously, and several times they brushed past the glass door of the Luo Bing route, reflecting the dim light. However, because the searchlight beam was too bright, no one noticed this scene. Normal people will never feel that there are several glass doors in the sky. But this is not a solution, and someone will always notice. Be careful, I will cut off contact from now on, the other party may have. Bang! A shot of RPG accurately hit the burning tower where Hawkeye Barton was located, and a huge amount of fire lit up the entire port. A man in a blue tights with a bullseye drawn on the head spit out the cigarette and gave a grim smile. Bullseye! Daredevil rushed out angrily. Senior Hawkeye! Luo Bing also revealed his whereabouts. For a moment, the whole port was lively. Jin Bing rubbed his white suit, took out a cigar from the inner pocket, and his subordinate quickly took out a lighter to light it for him. It's really interesting. Jin Bing watched this scene with interest, his face full of playfulness. I'm fine. Barton landed with a sullen face hanging from the hook, his clothes were a little burnt, and his hair was curled into a frizzy shape from the heat of the RPG rocket. But luckily, just like he said, he didn't have any big problems. He jumped off the tower just in time before the rocket exploded. Daredevil on the side has been besieged by gang members, but it is night, and he can always take advantage of his vision to hide and make a surprise attack. It turned out to be you, the Homeland Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau. Hawkeye agent Bullseye sneered and jumped down from the heights, pulling out a stack of special playing cards embroidered with gold rims from behind. Bullseye, like Hawkeye, is synonymous with precision. The same guys who shoot really hard. Sorry, I haven't heard your name. Hawkeye took his bow and arrow from behind with a look of disdain. With a bow and arrow in hand, this man can match the S.H.I.E.L.D team with 100 people. Oh, is that so? Bullseye grinned coldly, holding a poker card between his index and middle fingers. Plum Blossom 2 Block A call out SHHHHH. The two men started the Forbidden City duel. For their own pride. Luo Bing saw that Senior Hawkeye was fine. He let out a long sigh, took out two steel slashing knives from behind, one in each hand, stepped on the glass track, and charged towards Jin, who was smoking a cigar and watching the play not far away. Oh man, looks like you chose the worst one to mess with. Jin Bing grinned, tearing open his white suit with both hands, revealing 90% of his body's muscles. A group of men in black who resembled Jin and bodyguards obediently retreated behind them. In fact, aside from the confidants like Bullseye, the bodyguards are really just decorations by Jin Bing's side. Asterisk. Chapter 27. Bang 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 bang. Luo Bing ran forward, smoke constantly bursting behind him. A huge amount of smoke layered on top of each other, blocking the stars in the sky. Swish swish, several bat flying darts blazed out of the smoke, targeting Jin Bing. Jin Bing is huge, like a little titan, but his reaction speed is not slow, but his movements make Luo Bing somewhat incomprehensible. Without any dodging, he smashed his fist into the bat dart in front of him. Dang! The fist and the bat dart collided, making a sound of gold and iron symphony. Luo Bing's eyes jumped. This guy's physical defense is very strong. A black shadow rushed out of the smoke. Luo Bing was in ambush for a long time. While Jin Bing was punching his bat dart, he raised the steel cutting knife in his hand, and slashed towards Jin Bing with the force of his momentum and the force of his body falling. Swish! Jin Bing turned to dodge, the steel cutting knife cut lonely, and rubbed the corner of Jin Bing's clothes close to him. You're almost too fast, little guy. Jin Bing showed a cruel smile on his face. Look at what speed is. In an instant, Jin Bing turned into a bull, a pair of iron fists swung straight at Luo Bing, the air seemed to be shaken by his fists, and there was a burst of roar whistling. Luo Bing's expression was extremely focused, a smear of blood crawled into his eyes. Jin Bing's movements slowly slowed down in front of him, and the hair on the back of his head was slightly pulled up by some force. A strong sense of crisis emerged in his heart. Beast instinct activated. The muscles of the whole body seemed to be mobilized to the limit at that moment. The potential exploded. Luo Bing very skillfully dodged Jin and attacked the fist. He raised his right leg high and kicked Jin Bing's chin. Bang! Huge amounts of power carry gold and pour them behind them. However, when he was still 10 centimeters away from the ground, Jin Bing instantly stood up in an exaggerated posture that was impossible for a human to do. He spat out the blood in his mouth and stared at Luo Bing in front of him. Teeth are the weakest part of his body. He was angry. He was serious. He instantly transformed into a violent gorilla, moving fast and swiftly, ramming and punching Luo Bing with punch after punch. Luo Bing dodged subtly. Although Jin Bing's movements were fierce and fast, they were slowed down several times by Luo Bing's riding wheel. Beast perception constantly used his body to evade all Jin Bing's attacks. However, in terms of physical fitness, Luo Bing is far inferior to Jin Bing, a terrifying big man. Although his eyes can see the weakness of Jin and rushed over again and again. But the body can dodge while at the same time unable to separate the remaining energy to attack. Unless he completely abandons defense. However, his body was far from being able to withstand the ferocious punch of Jin Bing. With just one punch, you can beat him to the point of spitting blood, and he is powerless to fight. At the moment Luo Bing is extremely focused. His brain was spinning fast, thinking about the best time to attack while dodging. The two sides have been entangled for dozens of minutes. Along the way, Jin and smashed a lot of things, but Luo Bing could not be touched at all. You bloody little loach! Jin Bing's angry punch missed Luo Bing again and smashed to the ground. The dust was flying, and the concrete floor showed a twisted crack. Ah, how dare you make fun of me! Unforgivable! I'm going to kill you! Jin Bing let out a roar, opened his mouth wide, and slammed his fist down at Luo Bing with incomparably powerful force. It's now forbidden! Rashomon! An anti-theft door made of steel instantly appeared in front of Luo Bing. There was a sound of shock, and the entire steel gate was punched with a huge fist mark. Luo Bing's body instantly moved sideways in an illusory way, turned around and passed through the door, and came to Jin Bing's back like a shapeshifter. That is an extremely gorgeous counter-kill. At number Yuan at number. The steel cutting knife stabbed into Jin Ning's body fiercely, and the sharp blade smashed his bones in an instant, and blood spattered. Jin Bing's arm was thrown far away. Blood splattered all over Luo Bing. At number Yuan number at Jin Bing's face was full of pain, but unfortunately his mouth was tightly sealed, and he couldn't even shout out the pain. Master Jin Bing. The bodyguard in black immediately raised the M416 in his hand when he saw this scene. Tongues of fire erupted. The dense bullets formed a line and shot towards Luo Bing. Ding ding ding. Luo Bing was already prepared, and the bullet was embedded 1 meter in front of him and stayed in the air. The tempered glass doors are cracked like spider webs. It's just that after breaking through one layer, Luo Bing is surrounded by layers of glass doors and even under his feet, forming an absolute defense in an instant. Whoosh! The sound of bursting arrows came from a distance, and Hawkeye was dressed rough. There was something more on him. That's a Golden King. It ripped through Hawkeye's nanosuit and slammed into his right arm, blood dripping out. The 10-second silence time came in an instant, and Jin Pian shouted roar loudly. He picked up his dark golden cane and fired a few laser beams towards Luo Bing. After finding that there was no effect, he instantly pressed a button. A large amount of black smoke came out of his cane. Jin An fled decisively while taking advantage of the smoke. Luo Bing released the absolute defense around him, and just wanted to chase after him, but Beast's instinct stopped his body and stepped back far away. Ah! The dozen or so men in black who inhaled the black mist were spitting out white foam in pain, their bodies rotting into pieces of minced flesh and flowing on the ground. Black mist is poisonous, his crutches can even emit lasers. Luo Bing's head was in a cold sweat, so dangerous. He almost rushed in. Pity. Let that guy run away. Luo Bing glanced around the port and found that Daredevil seemed to have been seriously injured and was in deep crisis, so he immediately supported him without hesitation. It was a bloody night. The harbor is littered with the corpses of gang members. Even Daredevil, who has always regarded not killing as his moral standard, accidentally killed 2 guys who attacked him in order to save his life. Hawkeye came from a distance, wounded. On his left hand, a bullseye that was half-bombed was held tightly by him. Jin An ran away, but I cut off his arm. Luo Bing dealt with all the guys under his feet who were knocked unconscious by Daredevil. He was not so merciful, piercing their hearts with one knife after another, and the steel cutting knife was soaked in blood and turned blood red. Daredevil on the side seemed to want to say something, but he kept his mouth shut. He has no right to say anything, asterisk. Chapter 28. Hawkeye and Daredevil were slumped on the ground, and Luo Bing was probably the only one who could stand up from the port. You beat Kim Bing. Hawkeye and Daredevil couldn't believe it. Daredevil Matthew once met Jin Bing, and was beaten to death by him, only to get out of the drag. His iron fists are unreasonable at all, and he may hit it 10 times without pain or itching. But as long as he hits you, you have to vomit blood. This is the physical gap. He is very strong, and I just played a little trick, Luo Bing said, not exaggerating. After this battle with Jin Bing, Luo Bing really realized his many shortcomings. Problems that seemed insignificant at first were unexpectedly turned into deadly hidden dangers at critical moments. Means are also a kind of strength. Hawkeye smiled, endured the pain and pulled out the playing cards on his shoulders. He took out a disposable bandage from his backpack, and wrapped it around several times with his teeth. It stopped and continued. Blood flowing down. Communication has resumed. Luo Bing turned to Hawkeye and said, listening to Sky's familiar voice in the headset. It really was the car's problem. There should be something on it that can block external signals, Hawkeye said. The heavy, gold-trimmed presidential car was gone. Under the cover of the black fog, Jin Chi got on the tortoise shell and ran away. But fortunately, a large number of handed-over goods remained at the dock. In the chaos just now, the cruise ship that saw the bad situation turned around and left the scene and fled to the Atlantic Ocean. Hawkeye took out new communication equipment and started to get in touch with the organization. In the battle with Bullseye just now, almost half of his things were destroyed. S.H.I.E.L.D's crew arrived at the scene about half an hour later. On the sea, the Kun-style fighter jets began to block the sea area. By means of S.H.I.E.L.D, after about 10 minutes, the cruise ship that had escaped to the Atlantic waters was stopped. But by the time the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent landed from the ropes, all the survivors on the cruise ship had been killed. Nick Fury came to the pier in a Quinn style. A solemn face. Sure enough, Stark Arms looks like something went wrong with the Stark Group. S.H.I.E.L.D's agent was cleaning the battlefield, looking at the corpses all over the port, even if anyone could imagine how tragic the battle was. The three of them met the gang members number 300, plus Bullseye and Jin Bing. Among them, Bullseye was half unconscious, and Hawkeye Barton was also seriously injured. Jin Bing had one arm cut off, and Daredevil Matthew was covered in wounds all over his body. There were several bullet holes in his body, but fortunately they were not fatal. You did a good job. It surprised me, the old man. Fury patted Luo Bing on the shoulder. Looking at this 16-year-old boy, the young and handsome face was full of confusion. Who would have thought that this seemingly harmless guy cut off one of Jin Bing's arms and then slaughtered the entire dock? The gang members who fell here. Except for 1/10 that Hawkeye and Bullseye took the time to solve, Luo Bing killed almost all the rest. He is now a blood man. He was covered in the blood of others. It is an exaggeration to say that his steel-cutting knives are a little dull. I need a shower. I regret it, the bonus has to be doubled. Luo Bing said a word, walked into the Kun style, and unloaded his equipment. This guy. Fury scratched his head. Isn't the murderess a bit too heavy? Fury had a headache. About 10 minutes later, Luo Bing walked down from the Kun style in casual clothes, and even got a new hairstyle. The port has been cleaned almost, and a few lucky ones still alive in the corner were taken to the prison by the agent. Among them, the half-dead Bullseye was first treated urgently, and then locked in the special isolation chamber of S.H.I.E.L.D. Why don't you just kill it and keep wasting prison resources? Luo Bing looked at this scene with disdain. There's always something for the prisoners to do, Nick Fury sneered. Bullseye is Kim Bing's confidant. He knows a lot of Kim Bing's business, and intelligence officers will tell him from his mouth, Fury said. Luo Bing nodded and said nothing. In his opinion, the enemy is to be killed. Don't kill it and keep it for the new year? He dislikes watching the protagonists of certain movies and TV series because of a hint of soft-heartedness and letting go of the enemy. Wait until the enemy grows up and kill the relatives, friends, or wife of the male lead. Then the male number one began to explode, detonating the small universe within the body. It's just a shitty plot. But many directors and screenwriters still like to shoot and write such stories. About half an hour passed. The port was almost cleaned up, and Tony arrived late in his private jet. With his character, he will not pay attention to the order of the black marinated egg at all. However, when he saw the photo that Black Braised Egg sent him, he immediately got up from the woman. This is a matter of principle. He does not allow the weapons he produces to fall into the hands of the gang. His father taught it. Tony came to the weapon box, glanced down, and immediately understood that it was definitely a weapon made by his own company. Open the weapon case to reveal the delicate warhead inside. The Rattlesnake series, FK, this is basically the latest batch of products the company has in circulation, Tony yelled. Anyone who knows that their achievements are betrayed by their subordinates in private is very uncomfortable. What's more, Tony had absolutely no idea who would betray him. Tony basically does not intervene in the company's file size matters, and Obey has always done all the operations for him. Tony frowned, he seemed to have some guesses, but he didn't say it, he just doubted. Luo Bing just checked the latest transfer from the computer, and was very happy, and walked over from a distance. If it's all right, he's ready to go back to sleep and come and talk to Fury. Hey, it's you. Tony Stark was thinking about something when he suddenly raised his head to look at the young man walking by in the distance, and exclaimed in surprise. Asterisk. Chapter 29. It's a coincidence, Mr. Stark. Luo Bing also called Tony Roar. The two had just met a few days ago. At that time, if Luo Bing had not acquired the beast instinct, he might have died. He's our super ability advisor. You two know each other? Fury asked in surprise. It's a bit complicated to say, we met before. Luo Bing nodded. Yes, I checked it afterwards. The time of the traffic light was changed by someone, and I almost got hit by the car. Wait. What did you say he was yours? I heard that right, super ability consultant? I mean, is there really super ability in this world? Oh my, oh my! Tony exclaimed exaggeratedly. As a scientist, he was very curious about the unfamiliar field of super ability. What is your super ability? Flight? Control metal? Invisibility? Perspective? Tony instantly became interested, and curiously asked a few questions in a row. I can make people shut up. Luo Bing shrugged and smiled. Tony. Tony frowned, not understanding the meaning of this shut up, scratched his head, and continued to ask, Yuan number Yuan at percent number at Yuan. His mouth seemed to be stuck with 502 glue. He wanted to speak but couldn't say anything, his eyes widened in disbelief. This time, he finally knew what shut up meant. Fury took a half step back with an unnatural expression, he didn't want to bite his tongue all of a sudden. Luo Bing spread his hands innocently, then turned and left. Hey, don't leave it. You just unbuttoned to me. Tony's hearth nay. But the words turned into, at number at Yuan number at percent number at, Yuan. When Luo Bing turned around and walked a long way, 10 seconds finally came, Tony exhaled heavily, frightened. What kind of super ability is this? How did he do it? Tony muttered softly as he looked at Luo Bing's retreating back. That's a mysterious guy. Tonight, he chopped off an arm and nearly killed him, Fury boasted proudly. Tony's eyes lit up. I'm going to ask him to be my bodyguard. I'll give him 100 million a year. Fury's dark face instantly darkened. Stop dreaming. Robin is not a man who sees money. Everything he did was done for justice. I urge you to dismiss this ridiculous idea. If Robin knows, I can't stop him. Fury looked serious. On the surface it is righteous words. In fact, I was panicking inside. He really knew Luo Bing too well. If he knew that Tony offered him 100 million to be his bodyguard, 100% of him would immediately quit. Wake up, don't think you can buy anything with money. The most precious thing in this world is the mind. Fury continued to pretend. Are you bluffing me? Tony looked suspicious. As a genius, observing words is the basic operation. If you don't believe me, just try it, if you want to feel the same way for the rest of your life, Fury whistled, with a nonchalant attitude on his face. Tony recalled the feeling of being speechless just now and shook his head. Then he began to worry about his own goods. Where did these weapons come from? Fury turned his back on Roar and took a breath, and immediately summoned his subordinates to transfer 2 million to Luo Bing's account. Drop 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 drop. Fury's emergency roar call line was opened. Hey, hey. Director, why did you call me another 2 million? Luo Bing on the other end of the communicator was so excited that he almost called out the nickname he gave Fury. You have done a good job in your mission. This is a special reward. In addition, you are now a level 7 agent, Advisor Robin, Fury said with a deep expression. Ah, thank you so much, Director, you are a nice person, I appreciate you more and more, and there will be such good things in the future, remember to call me Ha. Luo Bing said happily. Not because of the upgrade of the 7th level agent, but because of the extra 2 million. Fury continued to look somber, replied and hung up the communication. He let out another sigh of relief, and then he felt calm. At the same time, it's also a bit embarrassing. In the face of such a greedy master, what if he is actually poached by someone with a high salary in the future? It seems that he will be more generous to him in the future. Let him know that I am the best here. Cannot be done. He had to find a wife for him to tie him up. Who should I look for? Luo Bing drove back to his residence in just 20 minutes on a Harley borrowed from the Quince. To borrow is to borrow. Not yet is another matter. If it wasn't for Luo Bing's driver's license, he would have borrowed a more expensive four-wheeler. Luo Bing parked his motorcycle, turned around, and saw Sky standing at the door waiting for him uneasily. I'm back. Luo Bing smiled and waved. Where's your equipment? Sky first looked up and down Luo Bing, and found that he didn't seem to be injured at all, then he settled down and asked. Oh, that one, it's dirty, I sent it back to headquarters, and I spent some money to have them remodel it for me. Luo Bing didn't explain much, and ignored the question with a haha. Sky was silent for a long time, then looked at Luo Bing, Don't take such risks in the future, it's not dangerous, I'm very good, don't worry. Luo Bing walked up the stairs, seeing his roommate caring so much about him. There is always someone better than you, don't be arrogant. Sky followed behind, looking at Luo Bing's back, and seemed to want to say something, but because of the girl's restraint, she was too embarrassed to say it. The two walked to the third floor together, opened the door of the room, and each walked to their own bedroom. I will protect myself, don't worry, I'm not a brainless man. Sleep early, good night, Luo Bing said and closed the door of his room. Sky stomped his foot and closed his door in disgust. It would be weird if you had a brain, stupid. Asterisk. Chapter 30. Back in the room, Luo Bing turned on the game to pass the time because it was not yet 12 o'clock. In the past few days, Luo Bing has developed the habit of staying up late until 12 o'clock and waiting for the ability to refresh. It is because the quality of the abilities has been getting higher and higher these days. Make him look forward to it every day. When he boarded the accelerator, Luo Bing opened his favorite Suntang poisonous milk powder interface, and rushed a big gift bag without hesitation. At the same time as he was promoted to senior, he obtained the coveted epic dagger. Shadowless sword, Arano. In the current version of the poisonous milk powder, the shadowless sword is definitely a popular weapon. Although he is only a level 50 weapon, it relies on the bonus attack to add 30% damage to the top position of the 60 version of the fantasy epic. This is the most powerful weapon in the swordsman profession at this stage. The other is the magic sword Apophis. It is also a rare artifact. Because it is an artifact weapon, it can be traded, but it is a sky-high price on the auction house. Luo Bing is playing the sword and soul profession. In order to wait for this event package, he charged a lot of money and did a lot of tasks. Now that my wish has finally come true, my heart is full of joy. This weapon is too handsome. Luo Bing opened the gift box, right-clicked on the attributes of the shadowless sword, and was about to equip it to his weapon bar when he was stunned for a moment. I'm special? 7 days experience. My Nima. The labor and management have waited so long and charged so much money, you told me that it was a 7-day experience. Luo Bing was speechless. It was only at this time that he noticed the public screen of the game. There were also many local tyrants who were disgusted by this experience, and cursed the swashbuckling fool. It is said that someone drove to the permanent shadowless sword, Arano, but obviously, Luo Bing did not have that luck. I'm really drunk too. I just said why this event is so conscientious. I thought Suntang would lose money, but I didn't expect it to be a 7-day experience. Luo Bing sullen and very upset. Although he is rich now and can buy a handful of Apophis at the auction house, he is still unhappy. I feel like I've been tricked. But what can be done? This is obviously a classic game to make money, and rely on the gimmick of the shadowless sword to make a fortune. This is also not false propaganda. After all, someone really drove the permanent version of the shadowless sword. It can only be said that Luo Bing was not so lucky. Helpless, but Luo Bing still took this 7-day experience goods and went to the other world obediently. The strongest suit in the current version is the Wild Boar suit. Wild Boar sets are invincible. While swiping the picture, Luo Bing swiped the picture while shouting true fragrance. This weapon is really useful, but after brushing the half-pipe, the hair was not shipped to him. Luo Bing pouted, he was used to it. I don't know why, but his profiteering is very low. Sometimes the epic weapon flashed out in a flash and he didn't use it, and he couldn't buy it at the auction. However, it will be shipped anyway. Unlike the US server, Luo Bing first came into contact with the poisoned milk powder in the US server. There were very few people playing in the US server, and the explosion rate was even more impressive. It is normal for it to not ship for a week. Relatively speaking, the shipment rate of the national service is still higher. Definitely. Gift packs are also a bit more expensive. Luo Bing stood on the street, killing time. Many players saw his shadowless sword from a distance, and curiously crowded beside Luo Bing to open his panel and check the equipment. At first, they were envious, but when they saw the words 7 days of experience on it, they burst into laughter. Make a funny emoji on the public screen. Seems to be celebrating yet another victim of being deceived. Luo Bing was speechless and ignored it. Someone sent him a team invitation. He ignored it. Someone sent him an invitation to a duel. He also ignored it. Now he lacks interest, and has no mood to play games. The person who sent him the application for a duel, what is his ID called Baby Sugzu, he has red eyes, and his equipment can be said to be very luxurious. Luo Bing looks very envious in a wild boar suit. A duel, the wild boar is invincible in the world, what can I use to fight you? Suddenly, Luo Bing was stunned, thinking of his own plug-in shaker. It's not right. I'm not a normal player. What is equipment? I'm a man with a plug-in. As a result, Luo Bing took the initiative to initiate a duel application with Baby Sugzu, and the two sides wagered the battle with an amount of 1 million game coins. Soon, Baby Sugzu clicked the agree button and sent a line of text. Brother, just see how I treat you. As he said that, he also changed into the shadowless sword, Arano, and it could be seen that this brother was also a victim. The two launched a PK, and many people clicked in curiously to watch. White-handed against the red dog, the battle between the two swordsmen is about to start. The countdown to 321 begins. Luo Bing's pupils gradually became blood red. The writing wheel was turned on, and the game screen in front of him became PPT format in his eyes, playing frame by frame. 3-stage/close. Break the army and pick up and pick 2 in the middle and cross and X and pick up and jump backward and jump in the back and pick 2 in the middle and X and pick up a seamless combo. Baby Sugzu was beaten so hard that he couldn't get up and down in the sky. FKU, you old man, put it down, and see if I can cure you. The red dog freed his hand to type on the public screen. He couldn't do anything at all. Luo Bing ignored him, the character jumped up in the air and attacked twice, the silver light falling blade quickly fell to the ground. The wave-splitting sword forced the red eye up again, then picked it up and connected it, and hit another set of combos. Red eye hit GG. When it fell to the ground, a corpse had been transformed. This old hanging is really a pervert. This operation is too sharp, and the hand speed is too fast. Su Bayo was speechless. Seeing that 1 million game coins were in his hand, Luo Bing was in a happy mood and continued to invite the opponent to challenge. The other party seemed to be a little stubborn, then agreed to the duel, and then was picked up in the sky and a corpse fell. Hey, I don't believe it anymore, this is a mistake. At this time, Baby Susu was broadcasting live on YY, and there were hundreds of people in the room watching the joke and laughing. Continue to challenge. Definitely the result is the same, he was killed by Luo Bing's combo again. Wearing a boar suit is useless, wearing the best equipment and getting the worst beatings. Don't fight, stop fighting, slip away, old irons, I have a little stomach discomfort. Baby Sugzu fled away. Luo Bing suddenly saw that the head iron baby who gave him game coins was offline, shrugged and closed the writing wheel. I feel much better after the torture. Glancing at the time, there are only a few seconds left until 12 o'clock, and the mouse is placed on the close window, just about to press it. Sign in successfully. Today's ability Sister Good Luck's Shelter has been delivered. Please use it as much as you like with a ding sound. Luo Bing's new ability has been refreshed. Asterisk. Chapter 31. Miss Lucky's Asylum? The game window that Luo Bing was about to close remained. This new ability sounds like a boost to your luck, and the game in front of you just happens to be a good platform to test it out. Does it really increase luck? Luo Bing was a little skeptical, luck was too mysterious, and he didn't quite believe it. So, he manipulated the copy of the game Alien World with his hands. At the beginning, a sword was drawn and swept away. Critical attack, critical attack, critical attack. In the first picture of Screaming Cave, all the mobs are dead. I'm going, such a high crit rate, I don't have many equipment with crit bonuses, so I'm so lucky. A purple light flashed, and a little monster burst out with a pink piece of equipment. Bone breastplate of the Black Plague FK, a boar jacket. Luo Bing's eyes widened, how could this thing burst out while screaming? Are you sure it's not a bug in the system? Luo Bing continued to scan the picture. In the second picture, he not only revealed a Chaos Ace, but also an artifact card. In the fourth picture, Skull Cane, the pink light flashed again. Magic Sword. Apophyse. Shipped. Luo Bing stared dumbfoundedly at this scene. This luck is too bad, right? Wouldn't he be able to buy a lottery ticket tomorrow? Luo Bing picked up the magic sword Apophyse in disbelief. Might be easier to get. Luo Bing was not as excited as he thought. If it was before, he would definitely jump up happily. After repeating the ticket quest, Luo Bing entered the Screaming Cave again. After dozens of minutes, Luo Bing looked at the artifact in the equipment bar and didn't know what to say. His weight has reached the upper limit. He put together 3 sets of wild boar sets, 7 magic swords, Apophyse, and artifact cards of various prices, and some cheap items such as chaos trump cards exploded to the end. Luo Bing did not go to save space in the inventory. Built. It's too comfortable. Luo Bing threw the equipment to the warehouse, changed the map, and looted 60 artifact. At 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, Luo Bing took a deep breath while looking at the weapons in the warehouse. Stimulate. Double Dragon Shadow Sword. Sword of Light, Sun Judgment. Yilong Sword, Choice. One by one dreamy weapons were placed in front of Luo Bing. More than a cool word. Next, Luo Bing started to go to Kaylee's strengthening machine and put in materials and gold coins. The strengthening is successful, the magic sword Apophy's strengthening is added by 1. The strengthening is successful, the magic sword, Apophy's strengthening plus 2. Successful strengthening, magic sword Apophy's strengthening plus 3. After strengthening until the 15th, Luo Bing account ran out of gold coins and materials, and it stopped. Just when Luo Bing wanted to sell some magic swords for gold coins, a few words suddenly popped out on the computer screen. Unexpected operation, network interruption. Luo Bing. After he went online again, he found that his account had been blocked for 7 days. This is not a system seal, this is a manual seal. It's already 2 o'clock at night here in Luo Bing, but it's only daytime in the east of the world. The staff detected that Luo Bing's account explosion rate was abnormal, but couldn't find the reason, so they just gave him an abnormal operation for 7 days. Luo Bing was blown away. He worked so hard for 2 hours to brush out so many things. If you say it is closed, it will be closed. In the middle of the night, Luo Bing rang Sky's bedroom. Sky was drowsy and was startled when he saw Luo Bing rushing towards him aggressively, his eyes glowing. In addition to being nervous, there are some inexplicable expectations. His face instantly flushed with shame, and he thought that Luo Bing was suddenly enlightened. Unexpectedly. Don't go to sleep, help me fight. MMP, the equipment I managed to play has actually blocked my account. Sky, you have to help me and blow up their official website. Sky. After 10 seconds of silence, Luo Bing was kicked out. His face was inexplicable, thinking that this roommate was still getting up. Luo Bing was very helpless, and finally contacted his Xinyu member customer service. But the system interface of the small customer service said that he needed to queue up. If you don't want to queue, you can recharge to become a member of Xinyu, so that he will have his own exclusive customer service. Luo Bing was so angry. What are you trying to cheat me for money? Eat shit you. That night, Luo Bing directly invoked the exclusive rights of his level 7 agent and rode the Kunchi all the way eastward to Huaxia. A few hours later. Suntang Company headquarters office. Looking at Hua Ma Tang hanging from the ceiling, Luo Bing was wearing brand new Batman gear, his eyes were on fire, and he questioned loudly. Why do you want to block my game account? Hua Ma Tang. In fact, Hua Ma Tang looked bewildered. He had planned to get off work. He just stood up from his seat, and before he had time to stretch himself, he saw a black shadow suddenly. Immediately afterwards, he was hung from the ceiling. Weak, pitiful, and innocent. Why are you blocking my game account? Luo Bing pulled out a gleaming steel cutting knife from behind, with a murderous look on his face. The accompanying agent on the side waited and watched this scene. She was frightened by the operation of Consultant Robin. Involuntarily flew to Huaxia, and involuntarily hung a multinational boss from the ceiling of his office. Mom, are we a gangster? Consultant Robin is horrible. Hero. Hero. I don't know, what account did I block you? I don't know at all. Hua Ma Tang cried, very sad. I'm not an unreasonable person either. You go and check my account data. I didn't use a cheating tool at all. The system didn't ban my account, but you manually blocked it for me. If you don't give me an explanation today, I will demolish this building. Luo Bing put away the steel cutting knife and sat on the desk with his legs curled up. Hua Ma Tang wanted to cry without tears. What the hell is this doing? I usually pirate a game, how can I still attract superhero? It's not right. This is supervillain. Mother. I miss home. Asterisk. Chapter 32. Luo Bing made a big noise at Suntang headquarters. It wasn't until the end that Hua Ma Tang knew that his unwarranted disaster was only caused by a small game being blocked by mistake. Special. What is the blood mold of this life? This thing got really big. Luo Bing's act of directly driving into the airspace of Huaxia country surprised the authorities. The development of Huaxia's scientific and technological strength has not been covered until now, and the J-20 Veyron was soon dispatched to contain it. Huaxia is also one of the important council members of the World Federation, and also has a permanent member in SHIELD. Just when the conflict was about to start, the high-level people realized that this was just an oolong incident. When everyone was angry, they were ready to severely punish the agent called Robin. But there was an ironic scene. I don't know if Luo Bing's lucky halo played a role. The Ten Rings branch, which was notoriously hidden in the city, detected the Kunchi and J-20 in the airspace, and thought that the branch base was exposed, so they jumped out and launched a counterattack. The Ten Rings are one of the most dangerous terrorist organizations on Earth. Basically every country has their power. This is good, a battle begins immediately. Luo Bing, a player who just came out of the headquarters of Sun Teng, ran into the Ten Rings branch team that escaped from nowhere. After that things are much simpler. Luo Bing, who was wearing a Batman battle suit, wielded steel knives with both hands, overturned the entire 20-man team and captured the head of the division alive. This absurd end to this sudden fight with the Ten Rings. The person involved, Luo Bing, was completely exposed to the public eye, and a video was taken and spread on the internet. Fortunately, he wears a Batman blindfold at all times. The fact that the famous Batman in Queens is actually an Oriental person also spread to the world in an instant. Among them, the most excited are definitely the people who eat melons in Huaxia. Hey, did you see it? This is our country's superhero. Oriental. Nick Fury was so busy that he was shocked by Luo Bing's ability to cause trouble today. I don't know how many high-level executives called him to greet him today. At the beginning, they pointed to the ability of their director to do things, and even began to question how he managed S.H.I.E.L.D. But later, all of them called him and asked him for help. What do you say? SHIELD was calculated by the magic machine. I noticed the problem in the Ten Rings branch first, and sent it to the agent to deal with it in advance. Well done. Nick Fury is very deceived. What the hell happened when I came to Awakening? S.H.I.E.L.D. is so clever. I didn't send any quests about Ten Rings. What the hell is this? Black braised egg at the moment, and Hua Ma Teng's mood is absolutely the same at the moment. When he learned the cause and effect from the casual agent around Luo Bing, he immediately closed himself. What are you doing? You tell me all this is because of a game account being banned? Water law? Should I scold someone? Who should I scold? It's a good thing that the Ten Rings branch was removed, although the battle took place in the city, which is bound to cause panic and riots among some people. But J-20 is too strong, Luo Bing is too strong. The incident and the end only lasted about 10 minutes, and the battle ended perfectly. There were only a few people at the scene who had a stampede accident because of panic, and it was not a big problem at all. It can be said. This is the shortest time since SHIELD, no, this is the shortest time in the world to destroy the terrorists of the 100 people. Especially when the opponent is a predator like Ten Rings. Hua Ma Teng lay on the glass of the building and was fortunate enough to see the 1-20 battle of Luo Bing. On the premise that the opponent's weapons are well equipped, the guy who just asked himself why he banned his game account in the office held 2 watermelon knives. Wrong. With 2 steel cutting knives, he chopped down 20 well-equipped terrorists with lightning speed. Hua Ma Teng swallowed. Sigh that he is really big. He hurriedly raised Luo Bing's unblocked account to administrator privileges, and opened an official plug-in for him, and adjusted his luck value to 999. Afterwards, the wily Hua Ma Teng had an idea and held a press conference. Today is the most memorable day for me. I never imagined that there would be terrorists hiding not far from the Sun Teng building at that time. More than 20 terrorists armed with thermal weapons surrounded the downstairs of the Sun Teng building. I'm not afraid of being embarrassed. I tell you, I was so scared that I wanted to go home and find my mother. I'm scared to pee. But the man appeared, the man who saved all the employees of Sun Teng building. He killed 20 terrorists with a knife, and he is Batman. Afterwards, I also learned from my conversation with Batman that this superhero actually played one of my games, and it was banned by mistake because of the staff's lax operation. Here. I solemnly apologize to Batman. Thank you for your kind reminder and patient teaching. You made me understand the influence of games on human beings. Here, I make an important decision. Starting today, the games we make are all based on serving the public and advocating peace. The national server game League of Legends is officially launched on the National Day file. Heroes. Go defend our land, defend our freedom. Fearless to create heroes. You are the next legend. 666666666666666. The employees of Suntang Company looked at their boss with adoration with one hand and one thumb. He seemed to have completely forgotten how the boss was crying and crying while hanging from the ceiling. This ad is so hard. As expected of the boss. Suntang is on fire. League of Legends, which is not online, is also on fire. The fire was a mess. In addition, Batman, the superhero, has officially entered the public eye for the first time, arousing the worship of everyone. On the internet, a young man watched Hwamatang's live broadcast. You're so bullshit, who doesn't know, you almost cried when Batman hung you from the ceiling. I am an employee of Suntang, and I want to reveal the facts. The reason is this. An employee of Suntang Company blocked Batman's account by mistake. Balababala. When the self-proclaimed insider posted what he knew on the internet. Some people believe it, some people don't. People who believe in it say that Batman is really awesome and has a real temperament. Real man. This attitude of flying half the world map to FKU is really cool. If you don't believe me, you're a total bullshit. How could a hero like Batman be so impulsive, with such a small stomach? Don't slander our hero, get out of your way. But Luo Bing didn't pay attention to all this. As he flew back to Queens again, he heard a message. Peter's uncle Ben died. Killed by thugs. Asterisk. Chapter 33. It was afternoon when the Quince flew back to New York. Luo Bing only closed his eyes and rested for a few hours on the plane. After getting off the plane, he immediately walked towards Queens. Peter Parker's house. Peter sat listlessly on the balcony, high and dangerous, but at the moment he didn't seem to be afraid at all. He seemed very lonely and remorseful, his whole figure was like a frosted eggplant, his eyes were erratic, and he was very confused. Aunt May received relatives in the living room. Her husband suddenly left her side. At the moment, the saddest thing was her. She seemed to be haggard in an instant. Relatives came one by one, and now Ben Parker's body is in the hospital morgue, ready for burial tomorrow morning. Luo Bing trotted over from a distance, glanced at the dead Parker, and frowned. Although the former Parker was very thin and was often bullied, he was a very lively child and talked a lot. At the moment, he is the one who is most worrying. Aunt May, people can't be resurrected from the dead, condolences and changes. Uncle Ben is a very good man, he will definitely go to heaven. Luo Bing walked into the room, stretched out his arms and hugged Aunt May, feeling a little depressed. Good boy, go see Peter, I'm very worried about him. Aunt May touched the tears in the corners of her eyes, she was a strong woman. Although her husband's death made him very sad, she still held on, but she was worried about Peter. Peter was still young and had never seen life and death, fearing that he would be hurt. I'll go up and see him. Luo Bing nodded, turned, and walked towards the stairs. Peter's bedroom is on the second floor. Luo Bing came here once before. That day was also the first day of his transfer. Luo Bing, who saw Peter being bullied by Thompson, made a decisive move and fought with Thompson. And sent Peter home and had a meal here. At that time, Luo Bing still remembered that Ben asked him how Peter was injured. In order not to worry the two old people, Luo Bing and Peter discussed an explanation and reluctantly fooled him. He opened the door gently and looked at the open window and Peter sitting on the balcony. Luo Bing walked over, climbed up the window, and sat with him on the balcony. Big brother Luo. Peter turned around and glanced at Luo Bing with red eyes and tears. Luo Bing pursed his lips and rubbed his hair with his left hand. Do you know who the murderer is? Luo Bing asked. Parker shook his head. The police hadn't given a picture of the suspect, but only knew that it was a gang of robbers who shot and killed Ben's car. Don't be too sad, Peter, be strong, don't let your Aunt May worry, Uncle Ben passed away, she is the saddest one now, but she has to receive relatives and worry about you at the same time. Go to Aunt May and help, the murderer will be punished, Luo Bing said. Punishment? Peter clenched his fists and looked at Luo Bing. Don't worry, even if the police can't catch them, superhero will come out. Luo Bing patted Peter on the shoulder, jumped off the balcony on the second floor, and gradually walked away. Superhero. Peter clenched his fists, the hairs on the back of his hands stood up, turned and walked back to the room. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. Those were the last words Uncle Ben said to him. Peter Parker went downstairs and gave Aunt May a hug, greeted Roar with relatives and friends, and then went upstairs, locked his room, took out his toolbox, and started making something according to his own imagination. Back at his rental house, Luo Bing was not in the mood to buy lottery tickets. The first thing he did was let Sky call up the road surveillance at that time, and recorded a few characters through a few shots. After that, Luo Bing went to take a bath, make up for sleep, and wait for the dark night. Luo Bing stood on top of the tallest building in Queens and began to observe carefully every character in the city below. Tonight in Queens, the abnormal chaos, perhaps hearing the news of Batman's appearance in Huaxia, the criminals who had been suppressed for several nights began to move. Police cars on the street honked their horns to maintain law and order. Isn't it okay to be safe? Luo Bing scolded, took out the skateboard from behind, and walked down the glass boardwalk. Queens, major real-time daily newspapers. Appeared again. Smoke arrows. Batman is back. Great job, Batman. Give those criminals some color. Some people are excited, some people are excited. For some reason, after seeing the smoke arrow that appeared, many people were relieved that this was Batman in action. Bang! Luo Bing punched a gangster in the face, pressed him against the wall, and took out a portrait from his coat. Tell me. Who is he? A special voice changer is installed in the latest battlesuit. After processing, the sound is cold and serious, which is very intimidating. I don't know, I really don't know, please spare me, please, I won't dare anymore, the little gangster cried bitterly. Not everyone deserves a second chance. Luo Bing punched him in the face, knocking him out with a swift blow. He was hoisted up 2 or 3 times and tied to the wall beside him. Luo Bing turned and left the place. The smoke above the head exploded, and another smoke arrow appeared. The police cell should be crowded tonight. Luo Bing, there is a special situation. In 5th Street, the police are chasing a boy in a red and blue tights headset. Sky sent the latest news. Red and blue tights. Luo Bing frowned. I know, I'll go check it out. The hook was ejected, the bat battlesuit wrapped Luo Bing's figure, and the whole person disappeared in place in an instant. Asterisk. Chapter 34. Peter Parker hopped up and down the alleys like a flea. Since he was bitten by a spider that day, his whole person has changed. At the moment, he was wearing a red-blue tights, with a black spider embroidered on his chest, and the web shooters with his left hand characteristics fired a tough spider web and glued it to the big arm of the tower crane on the side. Wow! Peter swings nervously on the swing. He wasn't quite used to the feeling of flying up and down, it was just too exciting. His body's ability to react is not known how many times stronger than before, and it is extremely powerful. At the same time, every time he is about to hit the building in front of him, his spider telepathy always predicts the danger one step ahead and corrects his position. Today is the first day Peter officially dons the dress. He also wants to be like Batman, to uphold justice at night, to be an obscure superhero, a good neighbor to New Yorkers. Also, he wants to find the murderer who hurt Uncle Ben, arrest him and bring him to justice. However, little Peter had a bad start. As soon as he hit a criminal, he caught the attention of the police. One of the cops nearly wounded him with a bullet, but Peter's spider telepathy worked and he dodged the bullet in an instant. Parker continued to fly between buildings, followed by more than 20 police cars. The whole of Queens was in chaos. Why can't I listen to explanations? I'm not a criminal. Peter grumbled, firing his cobweb, then swung forward. Danger! Alert from spider telepathy. Peter looked at the bright metropolis in front of him, wondering where the danger came from. Could someone aim at him with a sniper rifle? Is thinking. Snapped. Peter slammed into the glass track, his face with the spider hood slapped on the tempered glass, and made a funny expression. Hey, little bug, you're making a lot of noise. Luo Bing walked out of the darkness, threw out his bat dart, and locked the 4 corners of the boy in the red and blue tights with precision. Ah, it's Batman, wait, don't do it, I'm also a superhero, and I'm just like you, everyone, Peter shouted quickly. Roar. This voice. Luo Bing narrowed his eyes, heard something strange, and felt a little familiar. Where did you come out of, superhero? Luo Bing asked coldly. I'm Spider-Man, yes, I'm Spider-Man. Hey man, this is a misunderstanding, I just subdued a criminal, but the police came over when I was tying the criminal up and thought I was a badass, so they started chasing me. I'm really wronged, man, Peter said, reaching out and pulling out the batarang that had poked a few holes in his clothes, and threw it to Batman in front of him. "Cool, Batman, I finally met a real person, you are really amazing." Peter was so adored, he looked like he wanted to come over and get his autograph right away. As the man in the blue tights in front of him talked more, Luo Bing's doubts became heavier, and the tone of his words was really similar. "Peter?" Luo Bing asked uncertainly. Big question marks appeared on Peter Parker's eyes. "You, how do you know my real name?" Peter was frightened, and even his tone became a little excited and changed back to his original voice. "It's me." Luo Bing turned off the voice changer and revealed his real voice. "Luo. Big brother Luo." Peter was stunned. That mysterious Batman is the big brother Luo he is most familiar with. This is too unbelievable. "Follow me." Luo Bing beckoned, and he stepped on the skateboard and walked along the glass track towards a building in the distance. Peter also reacted and quickly followed. The two landed on the roof of the building, and Peter took off his hood, still looking surprised. "Brother Luo, I didn't expect you to be Batman. This is too cool." Peter still couldn't believe it. "Let's talk about you first. What's your situation? You have a super ability." Luo Bing took off the Batman blindfold and asked uncertainly. No, I went to the Osborn mansion for an internship that day and was bitten by a mutant spider that escaped, and then I mutated." Peter scratched his head. "Can your body emit cobweb?" "No, this is web shooters. I made it myself using the principle of Osborn's latest slime." Peter touched his head embarrassedly. With that said, Peter gave Luo Bing his web shooters. Luo Bing took a closer look, looked at the small device, and pressed the launch button. Biu, a white linear spider web was instantly launched into the air. Very convenient and practical. The toughness is particularly strong, and Peter can use this thing to swing in the sky before he knows it. "Nice stuff, Peter, you really are a genius," Luo Bing commented, throwing the transmitter back to him. Peter touched his head embarrassedly. He was very excited to be praised by both Batman and Big Brother Luo's double body. "Luo Bing, through the camera comparison, I found that person, the coordinates of the 2nd Street Sky said in the headset." "Nice job." Luo Bing nodded and looked at Peter. "Find the murderer, come with me." With that said, Luo Bing jumped off the building. "Murderer? The murderer who killed Uncle Ben?" Peter instantly burst into anger, put on his mask and put on web shooters and followed Luo Bing. He constantly launches cobweb and swings around the city. Sometimes when there is no focus, he will stick cobweb on Luo Bing's glass boardwalk. "I won't forgive you." Peter swore secretly, clenching his fists. Luo Bing leads the way. Peter turned into a Spider-Man. He was also a little surprised, but he was very relieved to see him now. At least he came out of the shadows. Asterisk. Chapter 35. 2nd Street, in an abandoned repair shop. "Why did you shoot that old man?" "Cook. It's all your trouble. Look at what you've done. Now the whole Queen's cops are after us. And the guy in the black trench coat." There were a total of 4 people in the repair shop, and it seemed that there was a dispute. Several people originally planned to carry out a small robbery, but this accident happened unexpectedly. "That old man is in the way. The police were coming, and he held onto my clothes tightly. I was so nervous, and I just wanted to scare him, but who knew the gun went off." Cook held his head, and he can still reminds me of the old man. "Okay, stop arguing. Now that the matter has happened, I have calculated it all. Take advantage of the dark, and then we will slip away from the port, and when we run to... Where do you want to go?" Luo Bing came out of the darkness and asked with great interest. "Batman." Cook looked at the door with a look of horror. The 3 words Batman are too deterrent. Since the Hell's Kitchen incident, now as long as you are a criminal, your legs will go weak when you hear that name. "Go to hell, Batman. I'm not afraid of you." Cook raised the gun in his hand, and the whole person looked very crazy. "Hey!" 2 cobwebs shot down from the ceiling. One cobweb stuck to Cook's hands, and another stuck him firmly on the wall. These people are just little mice. When they saw Batman appear, their hearts had already collapsed. "You killed Uncle Ben." Peter fell from the ceiling, punched Cook in the face, and roared loudly. Don't kill me, I surrender, I will surrender, I plead guilty," Cook yelled frantically. Rather than fall into the hands of Batman, it would be better to fall into the hands of the NYPD, and he was really scared. The three people on the side ran frantically towards the door after seeing this scene. Luo Bing ignored it and let him run away frantically. As predicted, they slammed directly into the glass door of the gate, blood flowing. One of them pretended to faint on the spot, and the other two fell to the ground with their noses covered in pain. It's that simple. Do you think you'll be fine if you turn yourself in? UBD. Luo Bing has never seen Peter so hysterical. He was venting frantically, punching Cook in the face with punch after punch. Luo Bing turned around and walked out of the repair shop. On the way, he knocked out the two who were still lying on the ground. I'll leave it to you, do whatever you want. Luo Bing left here. This matter is best left to Peter to handle. Luo Bing does not intend to participate. If it was handed over to Luo Bing, he would kill people without hesitation. But Peter is different from him. This child has a strong sense of justice in his heart. Although he is angry, will this anger prompt him to kill? Luo Bing does not intend to influence his behavior. In his view, everyone has the right to choose. Luo Bing returned to his rental room and took off his battlesuit. Is the matter resolved? Sky stepped forward to collect the man's clothes and stacked them in the cabinet. Maybe, Luo Bing replied vaguely. What happened today made him feel a lot. Ben Parker died unexpectedly at the hands of a gangster. Luo Bing looked at Sky, unable to imagine how angry he would be if such a thing happened to him. Go crazy? Do not. He absolutely will not allow this to happen. I will protect you, Luo Bing said abruptly, looking at Sky. Sky was stunned for a while. Although she didn't know what happened, she could understand Luo Bing's seriousness. I believe you, Sky said. This time, she did not confront Luo Bing verbally, and nodded. The atmosphere was suddenly awkward. I made you dinner and put it in the kitchen. Sky bit his lip, opened his mouth, said this, and then turned back to his room. Thank you. Luo Bing was moved and smiled. The relationship between the two is a little delicate now, and it seems to be very harmonious. But after a few minutes, Luo Bing walked out of the kitchen with a dark expression on his face, and the emotion in his heart was thrown into the trash can. Stupid woman, come out for me, what are you doing, are you trying to poison me? Luo Bing asked, standing at the door. Blame me. I don't know how to cook. You can teach me. Sky blushed, embarrassed. Okay. I'll teach you, you come to me. Another half hour. You are a genius. I have never seen such a talented student as you. You can make me a gas bomb in the future. It's a waste of your talent not to make poison. Why are you so fierce? I've worked hard. It's your bad teaching. So it's all my fault. Yes, it's all your fault. What am I? Luo Bing was so angry that he was speechless. He pulled the little beauty up by the collar without pity, and pressed it on the chair to slap roar. Ah, it hurts, don't spank me. I'll fight you. Sky started to fight back. It's just that resistance is futile. Her small body can't handle Luo Bing's big hand at all. Stop, stop, stop. UBD, you actually bully weak women, do you still have a bottom line? You just said to protect me, you liar. The little beauty was tearful, pouted, and looked like she was about to cry. I don't have a bottom line. Also, I said that I will protect you from others bullying you, but that doesn't mean I can't do it myself. Luo Bing snorted coldly, and then slapped roar. Crisp and loud. In fact, he didn't have much effort at all. Batman, come and save me. There is a BD who is bullying the girl. Help! Sky shouted roar to save. Batman is on vacation today. It's no use screaming in your throat. Luo Bing sneered. Broken throat. Broken throat. The little beauty then shouted. Luo Bing. Want to play with me, is it fun? Continue to slap roar. Crack ugh. I don't dare. The little beauty raised her hands above her head to beg for mercy, her face flushed with shame, and she lost her life. She felt like she was beaten out. Chapter 36. Sign in successfully. Today's Power Yang Cheyu's prayer has been delivered. Please use it as much as you like. Sign in successfully. Today's ability Senior White's Smile has been delivered. Please use it as much as you like. 2 days off. Luo Bing obtained 2 strange abilities in a row. This is the ability of the other world that he obtained after Miss Lucky's asylum. What a miracle this is. Both are blessing his luck. 3 times as lucky? 3 times happier? Who is Yang Cheyu, and who is Senior Bai? Luo Bing was very puzzled, he was on his way to school at the moment. By the way, all the green lights I encountered along the way were considered lucky. Luo Bing shrugged. Luck is the most elusive. It's very early to leave today, I shouldn't be late. In fact, the most direct way to check your luck is to buy a lottery ticket. Luo Bing bought it yesterday, and the lottery will be drawn tonight. The wind blows. A green 100 yuan bill smashed into Luo Bing's face. Luo Bing reached out and touched it, the texture was the most wonderful thing he had ever touched. There is nothing better in this world than this. Going out and throwing money at your face? This is the blessing of triple luck? Do you dare to get a few more? Luo Bing put the money into his pocket with lightning speed, feeling very happy. Crash la la la. Tens of thousands of US dollar bills fluttered in the wind, and bills rained instantly in the sky. Ward Fa? What is this? FK. What's the situation? A prank? Oh bye, no, it's real dollar bills. The passers-by around them looked at this scene stupidly, and began to bend over frantically to pick up money. Luo Bing froze in place. I muttered to myself, does it really have such a powerful effect? What kind of beauty salon do you own? Picking up money all day is not enough. It's too inexplicable where this money comes from, isn't it? What exactly is going on? Soon, Luo Bing knew the answer. A group of robbers scolded their heads from the viaduct, their faces were wrapped in Wangchuan stockings, and there were about 6 people holding AK-47s in their hands. It happened 30 minutes ago. A group of well-trained robbers raided a bank in Midtown. They had the bank's insiders, had a perfect plan, and knew exactly what the bank's loopholes were at various points in time. In this way, they successfully robbed the bank of 5 million cash notes, divided them into 5 bags, and fled wildly. But just as he was passing the viaduct above Luo Bing, a robber was unlucky enough to be caught by the gravel on the side of the road. The motorcycle fell to the side, and the bag in his hand also turned into a rain of banknotes and sprinkled down the viaduct. FK. No, the police are chasing after him, don't worry about that bag of money. Looking at the scattered banknotes on the floor, afraid that it would take half an hour to pick them up, the 6 robbers made a decisive decision, abandoned the banknotes all over the floor, carried the remaining 4 bags in their hands, and opened the locomotive went wildly outside the city along the viaduct. So that's how it is. Luo Bing sighed helplessly, looking at the police car from far to near, and at the sun at the moment. Seems like it's not yet Robin working hours. Do you want to take care of it? Never mind. Luo Bing looked at the banknotes all over the floor, walked to the side alone, and was about to take out the Batman blindfold from his backpack. The robber has been arrested and brought to justice. The robber has been arrested and brought to justice. A guy with a red mask passed by, it seems to be the spider boy who sent the murderer to the gate of the police station last night, he tied those guys with spider webs, please reply, please reply. Received. Police Chief Roar, who arrived at the scene where the banknotes were spilled in time, breathed a sigh of relief, finally relieved, and immediately maintained order, counting the flying banknotes all over the floor. Peter? Yes, he is also on his way to school now. Luo Bing loosened the zipper of the backpack and smiled with relief. It seems that his night work can be easier in the future. Well done. Spider-Man. Hey, you. I just hid something in my backpack. Please let me check. The dropped US dollar bills are the public property of the bank. Please turn it over to the police. The policeman said, trotting up to check Luo Bing's backpack. But suddenly another breeze blew by. A few green bills flew over to block his eyes. The policeman hurriedly pulled the banknotes off his face, but when he regained his senses, he found that the young man in front of him had mysteriously disappeared. Damn! The policeman scratched his head and looked around. Luo Bing shook his head and continued walking towards the school. He still has the Batman blindfold in his backpack, which can't be handed over to the police. Ding ding ding! SMS sent a string of messages. Luo Bing glanced helplessly. Here we go again. Is this the first number of people who charged him the wrong call today? Is it over yet? Luo Bing shrugged, his phone swiped slightly, and was about to delete the message. Ding, the recharge has arrived. Your call balance is 56,134 yuan. Another idiot. Luo Bing. Simply, he turned the phone to silent mode and left it in his pocket. A lot of luck is also annoying. Luo Bing sighed, suddenly felt something hard under his feet, and raised his foot to take a look. Good guy. A diamond ring that sparkles in the sun. Luo Bing rolled his eyes speechlessly, but this time he saw the men's watch hanging on the branch above his head. It's not over. I like them all, but I really can't pick them up. The backpack is full. Pat. A man's backpack hanging out to dry on the balcony of someone's house fell 3 meters in front of Luo Bing. Luo Bing was speechless and held his forehead with one hand. I simply stopped caring about it, stopped looking at it, and just covered my face and walked forward, heading towards the school. There were so many people and traffic, not a single one touched him. Luo Bing just lifts his feet and settles down. Along the way, the roof of the large and small car seems to have become his ladder, and stopped in front of him in order. Luo Bing only felt like he was climbing the stairs, the higher he climbed. He walked from the roof of the car to the roof of the big car, from the roof of the big car to the roof of the higher bus, and then to the tourist bus. The vehicle kept moving, but it happened to slow down when Luo Bing came to the edge due to the traffic jam. Luo Bing just walked forward step by step. He went up to the roof, from the roof to the branch, and along the branch to the roof. After going back and forth, he was very lucky to be in the classroom 10 seconds before the class bell. He is not late. A teacher was running in a panic with the answer sheet, and accidentally dropped one and landed on the ground. Luo Bing just walked by and stepped on it, leaving half a footprint on it. The teacher hurriedly picked up the test paper and sent it to the machine for marking. Omega, this student got a perfect answer. Robin. Strange. Didn't he come to class last time? The teacher was at a loss. Asterisk. Chapter 37. Hey, big brother Luo. You're not late today. Peter watched Luo Bing walk into the classroom with his forehead on, and ran over in surprise. Did you know, brother Luo, I just met a bunch of hapless bank robbers on my way to school. Ha ha ha, guess how unlucky they are. At that time, a big truck drove past me, and the wheel just ran over a stone. The stone was run over, and the 4 motorcycles were knocked down in a series. I was taken aback at the time, and when I looked closely, I realized they were robbers, so I put on a hood and tied them up with cobweb, Peter whispered. Now my misunderstanding with the police has been resolved, and the policeman also rewarded me with 2 bottles of soda. It seems that there is a prize for this, but mine seems to be thank you for your patronage, brother Luo, this is your bottle, I'll open it for you. Hi. Peter carefully unscrewed the bottle cap. Laser special. Special prize. Great, big brother Luo. We won the $10,000 prize. Oh, my god. I'm so lucky today. Peter jumped up happily. Luo Bing. The ghost knows how he is feeling now. Can he walk forward in a straight line to the school that is completely in the opposite direction? And was lucky enough to walk into the classroom 10 seconds before being late? What the hell am I going through? Brother Luo. We won the lottery. $10,000. No, you won the lottery, this bottle is yours. Peter scratched his head embarrassedly, his exaggerated appearance just now attracted the attention of the class. A large crowd watched. Have you paid the flower yourself? Luo Bing dragged his cheeks helplessly, and repeatedly studied the 3 lucky blessings in his mind. He wants to quickly turn this thing off now. No, not permanently closed. It's the kind that you want to open and close. This kind of luck is too terrifying and too uncontrollable. Luo Bing doesn't like this uncontrollable luck. It feels like I have been arranged clearly and clearly. The first class was the polymer materials and engineering class, that is, the chemistry class. Luo Bing didn't like the old guy. The old professor often made explosions in class, and Luo Bing couldn't sleep well every time. Ladies and gentlemen. There was a bank robbery on the way here. I'm sorry, your chemistry teacher was blocked on the road for inspection. Today's class is cancelled. Please study by yourself. Professor will walk to the classroom, a strange look at Luo Bing, like seeing a miracle. Oh my god. Today Robin is not late. It's so moving. Student Robin, please come out, I just have something to talk to you about. Professor Will looked at Luo Bing in the corner with a kind smile. Humph. There's a good show to watch. Thompson's cheeks have not yet subsided, and his face is still a little bruised. He glanced at Robin resentfully, then turned his head secretly, and hammered the seat with his arm. Chair. Boom. There was a loud bang in the classroom, and the old wooden chairs were overwhelmed and scattered into pieces. Thompson's face turned liver-colored from pain, and a nail happened to be stuck in his eye. What's the matter? Take him to the school hospital. Will frowned and glanced at Thompson, very dissatisfied with him. Professor Will, what can you tell me? Luo Bing followed Professor Will to the door. It is estimated that he is late every day, plus he didn't come directly on Friday. This old guy is finally angry, and he is going to target himself again? I just got new instructions from the principal, Robin, you don't need to come to school in the future, Professor Will said with a smile. Fired? Place so big? Okay. Luo Bing nodded. Although he was expelled from the school, his heart was still calm, and he felt that it was no big deal. It's just that this old guy laughed and said this sentence, which made him very unpleasant. Are you so happy that you were fired? Damn it. Ha ha ha, congratulations, classmate Robin, this is the first time since the establishment of the school, Will laughed. Robin remained silent. Although this old guy looks so arrogant and needy to beat, Luo Bing is really embarrassed to beat him. After all, he is also his own teacher, although he often targets himself, and even don't ask to himself later. But in general, he can be irresponsible to himself, and he still has to respect the teacher and the Tao. This is a matter of principle. Hey, Robin, why are you unhappy? Professor Will asked with a smile. I'm so. You are itchy skin, right? Not beating is uncomfortable, is it? Are you still provoking me? Robin clenched his fists, raised his head, and forced a smile. Oh, I see. Robin is also surprised, isn't it? Ha ha ha, after all, this is the first time the school has given me such an instruction, and I am also shocked. Student Robin, you are very capable, and taking classes at school is a waste of your ability this time. The principal has specially explained that you can come to the future classes if you want, or you don't have to come if you don't want to, but you must come back for the final exam, Professor Will said again. Luo Bing. What are you talking about? Why can't I understand it all of a sudden? Is there something wrong with my understanding? Isn't this dismissal? Okay, Luo Bing, I've passed this good news to you. You can arrange the next time yourself. I have other lectures. I'll go first. Professor Will waved his hand and turned to leave. Buzz. The special bracelet on Luo Bing's wrist vibrated. Hello? Phil Carlson? Are you looking for me? Luo Bing asked curiously. Consultant Luo, have you read the message I sent you? I have already arranged the school affairs for you, and I have a new task, Phil Carlson said. Oh, my phone is on mute, I didn't pay attention, Luo Bing suddenly realized. Finally figured out what the hell was going on. It turned out to be the power of SHIELD. Okay, the location has been sent to your mobile phone, and the Kunchi will pick you up immediately. Welcome back to the team, Advisor Luo, Phil Carlson said, hanging up. Asterisk. Chapter 38. At 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Luo Bing went to Kunstyle at the agreed place. Hey man, long time no see. Fitz rushed up and gave Luo Bing a hug. When did the two of them get along so well? Melinda asked contemptuously. Since Fitz found out Batman's true identity, Phil Carlson laughs. Long time no see, Robin. Gemma also came over. Long time no see. Luo Bing pushed Fitz away with a chilly expression and gave Gemma Simon a hug. You're so cool, Robin, can you take me with you next night out? Gemma's eyes were full of little stars. For a tech house like them who stay in the laboratory all day, the news from the outside world is always so novel. And me, I have a lot of inspiration for your equipment, believe me, I will add all kinds of small functions to him. The tech boss Fitz looked at Luo Bing expectantly, box in hand. The box contains Luo Bing's outfits. Then I'll leave it to you. Luo Bing handed over his suitcase to him. Fitz is a genius, and this free labor is not for nothing. In fact, his battle suit has been upgraded once or twice. There is no perfect thing, only more perfect. That's great. Cool. I love this job. Fitz ran back to the lab with excitement in his arms. It looks like you got along very well. Phil Carlson smiled, shook his head, and walked over. This mission is a bit special, come on, I'll show you the information, Phil Carlson said, turning around and pressing a few buttons. A document suddenly appeared on the Kunstyle strategy screen. That's a video. The scene of the video looks a bit chaotic, with many agents surrounding a middle-aged man with a full beard. The two sides seemed to be in a communication group, and a clear dialogue was passed over. Immediately afterwards, a contradiction occurred. The bearded mouth opened his mouth and spewed out rounds of flames, hitting several agents in front of him, and then escaped in the chaos. This is a power user whose gene of aliens has been activated in the body. From the current point of view, his power is roughly able to shoot flames from his mouth. He first injured several innocent pedestrians, and then set fire to several secondary agents under the chase of the agent, Phil Coulson said. Due to the sudden occurrence of the incident, the team at the time did not know the danger of the incident. It wasn't until this morning that the task was turned over to Phil Coulson. What the hell is an alien? Luo Bing asked curiously. He had heard a lot of people talking about it, but he still didn't quite understand it. It's a race, Phil Coulson said. It's a bit tricky to talk about. Do you agree that Earth isn't the only living planet in the universe? Phil Coulson asked. Luo Bing nodded. In the universe, a race called the Kree once visited the Earth, and some things happened at that time. I don't know very well, but the director should know something. In general, the Kree conducted an experiment with Earthlings, but then they abandoned the experiment and left Earth. Those who were experimental subjects at that time survived, gave birth to children, and until now, many years have passed, and the genes of their offspring are slightly different from normal people. We call this the inhuman gene. The alien gene may be awakening, and it may not be awakening for a lifetime, but after awakening, all kinds of strange and uncontrollable abilities will be born, Phil Coulson said. But you're different. You don't have any alien genes. You should be considered a local Superman. Your gene chain is normal, and it's no different from others. So, you're special. Phil Coulson spread his hands. Luo Bing smiled helplessly. Compared with others, he knew his special best. After Luo Bing arrived, everyone in the Kun style started to get busy. Fitz locked the location of an area before, dropped a lot of small drones, and searched for the location of the mission target. Next, Phil Coulson began to lay out tactics. Although it is a supernatural criminal, in order to better study the aliens, we need a living specimen, so no one is allowed to use firearms unless they are life-threatening, Phil Coulson said. S.H.I.E.L.D is not a Notre Dame bureau. Don't kill just to catch the live ones for research. But there is a bottom line. If there is a conflict during the capture process, in order to capture the survivor, it can be treated mildly within the scope of ability, but once the life of the agent is threatened, the criminal's life and death will not be considered. Luo Bing appreciates this. Consultant Luo, it is said that you have the ability to shut people up. Plan A is mainly based on your ability. As long as you can make the target person shut up honestly, then he will become an ordinary person completely, Phil Coulson said, and then he laid out a Plan B. Also known as a backup plan. Phil Coulson is cautious. Even if it is a small task, he will arrange a lot of backup plans to ensure the success rate of the task and protect the agents under him. Fitz and Gemma are not field members. Their task is to stay on the Quinn style to cooperate with the squad. Put down the isolation chamber at the right time and lock the fire-breathing man in. Correct. Fire-breathing man was the code name for this operation, and it was also the nickname that Fitz gave to the Inhuman. He seems to like nicknames for targets. The current main field forces are May, Phil Coulson, and Luo Bing, plus an agent team consisting of secondary agents. This task is relatively easy. In fact, the other party is just an Inhuman who has awakening Inhuman genes. Moreover, this fire-breathing ability was just restrained by Luo Bing's shut-up super ability. If nothing else, this was an easy task. The other party is not good at hiding themselves. The mission target has been found right below us, said Fitz. The Kun style hovered high in the sky, and a group of people, ready to go, gathered at the hatch of the aircraft. Wait until the Kun style land. The arrest operation will start immediately. Everyone was inexplicably excited and nervous. Luo Bing did not wear his own Batman equipment. He was wearing casual clothes and stood behind the crowd. This time, the small target did not need a Batman shot. Now is the time for SHIELD Super Ability Advisor Luo Bing. His Batman identity is kept secret from other secondary agents, and little is known even inside SHIELD. Only a few people close to him knew. Brother Luo, there is a switch on your left, pull it down, there are your agent equipment and parachute inside, Fitz reminded. Okay, Luo Bing moved the switch at hand. Pat. He pulled the wrong brake, and the isolation compartment at the tail of the Kun-style plane fell directly. Boom. The door that opened at the bottom of the isolation chamber happened to cover the body of the fire-breathing man below. What happened? A group of people stared at each other and were about to skydive when they stopped. Fire-breathing man, seems like, the capture was successful, the mission is over. Fitz stared blankly at the display, biting his fingernails, not knowing what to say. A group of people stared at Luo Bing with big eyes and small eyes. At the moment Luo Bing just got his parachute. I'm sorry, I pulled the wrong gate, and no one told me that was the button for placing the isolation compartment. Luo Bing shrugged. That damn luck is here again. Asterisk. Chapter 39. Luo Bing's first S.H.I.E.L.D mission ended before it even started. Phil Coulson didn't know whether to be happy or depressed. He made so many plans, lost so many brain cells, even lost a few of his precious hair, and he has been busy since the morning when he received the task. Do this consideration and judgment. Result. None of the plans he laid out worked. That guy Robin accidentally pulled the wrong brake and put the isolation box down. Then. Is it all over? Kunchi landed on the ground, and the group silently looked at the angry fire-breathing man in the isolation chamber. You say you are so unlucky? Or is Consultant Robin just too lucky? It's such a coincidence. The isolation bin at the rear fell from the height of 1,000 meters, and it happened to land on your head? Didn't even kill you? However, the design of the isolation chamber is not to smash the dead man. When it lands, the entrance door at the bottom will automatically open the door, and the rocket propeller will make the isolation chamber fall smoothly to the ground. Let me out! Let me out! The fire-breathing man slammed the glass door with both hands and let out a roar. FK! You bastards! Give me some space to escape! A strong frontal fight. Relying on high technology, what a great thing! Yes, he thought in his heart that this isolation chamber was the kind of high-tech that could be remotely controlled and automatically attacked, completely unaware that it was all just a coincidence. After recovering the capsule, a group of people stared at Phil Coulson. What's next? Fitz scratched his head, as if it was the first time he was not used to finishing the mission so quickly. Our mission is over, we'll just have to wait for someone from headquarters to take over, Phil Coulson said, taking out the communicator. He was also a little speechless. He just sent a message to headquarters a minute ago to report the start of the operation. I didn't expect the mission to end so quickly. Would you like to have a barbecue? Luo Bing leaned on the glass door of the isolation warehouse and looked at Yiren with interest, and suddenly suggested. Okay, everyone hasn't had a good meal because of the task. Genma's eyes lit up. Everyone turned to look at Phil Coulson. Phil Coulson is the commander-in-chief, and everything has to be approved by him. Well, I haven't had a welcome ceremony for Advisor Robin yet, Phil Coulson laughed, then his communicator connected. Hey, this is Nick Fury, what's wrong with the mission? Did you encounter any difficulties? The black marinated egg on the other end of the communicator rubbed his chin seriously. It stands to reason that at this critical time, there are only two cases for the agent performing the task to call him. The first is that the mission fails and the prisoner escapes. The second is to ask for support, the enemy's firepower is too fierce. The mission is over, the fire-breathing man has been arrested and brought to justice. Phil Coulson's expression was a little strange, and he really didn't know how to write this mission report. So fast. The black marinated egg also seemed to be stunned. Nice job Phil Coulson, go back and send me the mission report as a document, said the black gravy. This is one of S.H.I.E.L.D's agent guidelines. It is also a requirement in the playbook. An electronic file is kept at S.H.I.E.L.D headquarters for each assignment for future reference and investigation of similar cases. That's what Phil Coulson fears the most. There's something special about this time, our mission is over before it even begins, Phil Coulson said embarrassedly. What happened? The Inhuman died suddenly. Fury frowned. No, the aliens have been arrested and brought to justice. How should I put it? Consultant Robin accidentally pressed the wrong button. While we were still flying in the sky, the isolation chamber fell down and happened to cover the fire-breathing man. Phil Coulson can only say what happened once again. Hey? There's such a thing. Fury was speechless. Obviously it is a very serious task, why does it sound so playful? It's so coincidental. Okay, I see, the handover will be here soon. Fury touched his nose, his eyes a little puzzled. Is it such a coincidence? Soon after, the Kun style took off again and stopped at an uninhabited seaside. Fitz and Gemma excitedly removed the grill and various ingredients from the cabin. There are about 10 second-level agents of the team with excellent physical fitness, and they do the main cool work. The sea breeze here is very comfortable. I haven't felt so comfortable for a long time. Melinda blew the sea breeze and looked at the sun on the sea level with a rare smile. It's been a long time since I saw you smiling. Phil Coulson took a bottle of red wine and a goblet from the storage box beside him and filled it up. Melinda has never laughed since that incident. After that mission, the agent gave her the title of Iron Cavalry, which sounded good, but that incident was almost a nightmare for May. She killed an alien girl with her own hands. Although there were many reasons at the time, it was not May's fault, but it still left her with a trauma. She had applied for a clerical job before, but got here at the request of old man Phil Coulson. Robin, it seems that the ingredients are not enough. Gemma and I are going to go fishing together, shall we? Fitz waved the fishing rod in his hand, happily like a child. Count me in, I haven't fished in a long time. Robin took a pair of fishing rods from the warehouse and followed. Stepping on the golden beach, a few people just walked to the coast. Crash! Typhoon Mary was approaching from a distance, and it caused a little storm in the Pacific a few hours ago and was covered in the news. However, this was only a small typhoon, and when it landed on the coast, it had gradually turned off. But, while turning off the flame, the various fishes that had been rolled up to the sky by him were scattered. Hit the beach. Oh bye! The world is full of fish. We have no shortage of ingredients. Good luck! Ha ha ha! This is a gift from the typhoon. Fitz jumped up in surprise, and Gemma, who was beside him, saw this scene for the first time, and was stunned by the scene in front of him. Luo Bing! Get this damn luck away from me! I want to catch a good fish! Asterisk. Chapter 40. In the end, Luo Bing still failed to catch a fish. The beach was full of fish, and he lost interest in fishing. Everyone had a great time eating this barbecue. Sister Genma's cooking skills are not very good, but barbecue is not something with technical content. As long as the ingredients are complete, bake it. It didn't take long for S.H.I.E.L.D.'s handover team to come over, and the fire-breathing man successfully transferred to another Kun style, and I don't know where it went. Luo Bing is not interested in this either. This sudden mission came to a scrawled end. Luo Bing played the team dungeon for the first time, pulled the brakes, ate a barbecue, the mission was over, and the agent mission field speed was refreshed again. Unfortunately, this time there is no mission bonus. But it's no big deal either. In the evening, Luo Bing returned to Midtown, holding a lottery ticket in his hand and looking at the latest lottery information, feeling extra excited. He won the first prize of 5 million. Ha ha ha. At the moment he didn't really hate that uncontrollable luck. Walking into the largest welfare store in Midtown, Luo Bing began to redeem the prize under the reception of the boss. Little brother, you're so lucky, take the opportunity to buy some more lottery tickets, there are a lot of lottery tickets here, scratch the fun, and add to the fun. The boss smiled like a chrysanthemum and took out a few products and highly recommended them. Okay. Luo Bing was also in a good mood, not bad for the few thousand yuan lottery money. Then, an hour later, the owner of the welfare store was sweating profusely. He looked at the pile of winning tickets in disbelief, and was so frightened that he almost called the police. This guy actually added up to another 5 million. FK. What luck? Heck. Is this guy cheating? Impossible. The lottery tickets he bought were all given to him by himself. Are you a trustee? The boss was autistic, and when Luo Bing wanted to buy a few more lottery tickets, the boss immediately found a reason to decline. What a joke. You still buy it. It's really like a welfare shop giving welfare. Luo Bing returned home indifferently. It is said that after he left, the welfare shop permanently blocked him, but it doesn't matter, this is not the only one selling lottery tickets in the world. With the money, Luo Bing thought it was time to move to a bigger place. He now has a total of 10 to 20 million in total, and it is not a problem to buy a house in the suburbs. However, because there is no suitable location and housing, he is not in a hurry to buy it. When he got home, he immediately closed the room and began to study his luck. The only thing that can detect luck in the room is the game. He started to open up the shooting game he used to like. The bang bullet flew more than 1,000 meters and gave a precise headshot. Can't play anymore. Others thought he was a cheater. It was a card draw game, and all kinds of SSRs rushed towards him. Luo Bing was nervous and excited at first, but then he didn't feel anything when he played. He dived down to figure out how to turn it on and off based on the description of the power in his brain. I don't know if Luo Bing's lucky attribute is in effect again. Luckily, Luo Bing turned off the lucky halo. This sounds a bit convoluted, but it's the truth. He tried to turn it on and off constantly, and finally mastered the method of turning it on and off. Finally, Luo Bing let out a long breath and lay on his back on the bed, paralyzed from exhaustion. The current lucky aura only triggers when he makes important decisions, such as the ability to get a daily check-in, or when he makes certain moves that require luck. Luo Bing has 3 kinds of luck auras. Although they are all blessed by luck, there are still some differences in general. The ability Yang Cheyu's prayer mainly focuses on fulfilling wishes. Sister Lucky's asylum is a bonus to luck in all aspects, especially in the game. Among them, Senior White's smile is the most terrifying one. In all the things that Luo Bing encountered today, this ability is basically playing a leading role. Turning bad luck into good luck, go out to pick up treasures, brush dungeons and beat bosses omnipotent. However, according to the skill description, this ability also has a weakness, that is, while bringing good luck to himself, the people around him will suffer bad luck. Fortunately, Luo Bing turned on 3 lucky halos at the same time today. That night, Batman didn't set out for action. After the previous frantic raids and news of Kim's injury spread, the criminals who still dare to act at night are some stunned little fleas. This kind of trouble is left to the good neighbor Spider-Man. This kind of thing, the other side has fun. At one point, he called Luo Bing to say that he wanted to form a team, but Luo Bing refused. This talker, Luo Bing will call Luo Bing every once in a while to say what kind of criminal he has caught and save a few children. Luo Bing would tell him at first that he was doing a good job. Then I just wanted to mute his mouth over the phone. Since this guy was bitten by a spider, not only has his body mutated, but his brain has also mutated. Why is he talking so much now? The character is too out of touch. Dinner was settled by Sky. This woman doesn't know what kind of blow she has suffered. Now, when she has nothing to do, she is holding a cookbook to study, and she is completely addicted to it. After these 2 days of hard work, the food she made was finally edible. Although the words color and fragrance are completely inseparable. But it's finally okay. It's alright, I didn't lose sight of the ingredients in those trash cans. Luo Bing pouted, he now knew that women were difficult to deal with. Humph, it's obviously delicious now, how about you, why don't you say I'm making drugs? Are you convinced? Sky's eyes were sly and his eyes were full of pride. I think your butt is itchy again. Luo Bing rolled his eyes in disdain. You dare to spank me again, I'm not finished with you. Sky stepped back in fright, with his hands behind his back, blushing. Luo Bing sneered disdainfully. Tutoring mode is on again. There was a very rhythmic crack sound in the living room. Asterisk. Chapter 41. At 12 o'clock at night, Luo Bing patiently waited in bed. 3 lucky auras are activated at the same time. Sister Lucky's protection, Senior White's smile, and Yang Cheyu's prayers all worked at the same time. With the blessing of 3 lucky halos, Luo Bing felt full of confidence and infinite curiosity about the upcoming power. Sign in successfully, today's ability, system bug, buff has been fixed, today's ability Time Traveler's Pocket Watch has been delivered, please use it as much as you like today's ability Professor Du's Teleportation has been delivered, please use it as much as you like today's ability Ergu Jade Blood Wheel Eyes of the Good Friends of the 7th Hokage has been delivered, please use it as much as you like Luo Bing? What's the matter, give 3 at once. System bug? What the hell? Can anyone tell me what's going on? You fixed a hairy bug, but after the repair, you gave 3 abilities at one time. Luo Bing was stunned for a while, not knowing what happened. He hurriedly concentrated and went to check the skill description in his head. The Time Traveler's Pocket Watch, any time difference of 5 minutes before and after can be manipulated. The introduction is very simple, with only a few words, but it brings a lot of information. If you could change the time before and after 5 minutes, what would you do? Now this question is thrown to Luo Bing. Professor Du's teleportation. You can achieve instant teleportation over a long distance with the help of props such as doors, and teleportation within a short distance does not require any props. 7th Hokage's good friends Tsukuya blood round eyes. The eyes of the 7 generations of good friends have developed for the second time. This time, the writing wheel eye has more illusion skills, and the dynamic capture and static vision are even more crazy and cool. Luo Bing. What the hell is this 7th Hokage? The introduction word of this Sharingan is Mao so different. Besides, since it is the ability of his good friend, what does it have to do with him? Why do you have to bring his prefix every time? Luo Bing rolled his eyes. This time he gained 3 abilities at once, but he was a little worried about gains and losses. The ability of time, the ability of space, and the advanced writing wheel eye? For some reason, Luo Bing always had an unbelievable illusion. This triple lucky halo is too heaven-defying. The effect is simply bursting. Bang 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 bang. The earth trembled and the house shook. Luo Bing was startled and looked out the window, where the dazzling fireworks were burning fiercely. Huge amounts of fire shrouded the entire community. Whales constantly passed through. Many people were directly roasted into coke in their sleep. What happened? Help me. Meteorite. It's a meteorite. A 50-ton meteorite hit Luo Bing's community with devastating force. Suddenly the house collapsed and the residents screamed in agony. Luo Bing frowned and immediately left the window. What's the situation? This meteorite? It's all made of diamonds. Is it because of my strange luck again? Luo Bing looked at the collapsed corpse in the ruins and the raging fire in front of him, and his head suddenly crashed. Senior White's smile, when it brings you good luck, it will bring bad luck to those around you. Damn it, I forgot to turn off the 3 lucky halos just now. Luo Bing woke up in an instant, looked at the tragedy in front of him, and felt a little bit in awe of the White Senior who didn't know who it was. This is so devilish. A whole 50-ton diamond meteorite. What's the matter? Sky ran out of the room. She was already asleep, but a sudden earthquake woke her up from her sleep. It's too late to explain. Luo Bing glanced at the community where there were countless casualties, and with a swipe of his right index finger in the air, the time traveler's pocket watch ability was activated. An illusory big clock appeared in front of Luo Bing's eyes. 5 minutes ahead? Back 5 minutes? Luo Bing flicked the pointer and got into the time gap under Sky's surprised eyes. The screen changed, back to 5 minutes ago. Sign in successfully. Today's ability, system bug, buff has been fixed. Today's ability Time Traveler's Pocket Watch has been delivered, please use it as much as you like. Today's ability Professor Du's Teleportation has been delivered, please use it as much as you like. Today's ability Ergu Jade Blood Wheel Eyes of the Good Friends of the 7th Hokage has been delivered, please use it as much as you like. Luo Bing glanced at the intact windows in the quiet neighborhood, and immediately closed his lucky halo. It should be all right. Luo Bing looked up at the sky cautiously. S.H.I.E.L.D headquarters. Monitored a meteorite from outer space, start intercepting. Start intercepting. Intercept failed. Luo Bing, who jumped to the roof, looked nervously at the night above his head. Danger! Danger! Beast instinctively gave him an early warning of death, and a few hairs on the back of Luo Bing's head were pulled up. Come back! I didn't turn on the lucky halo this time, and even I was in the attack range. Hold! The last time Beast Instinct didn't give him any danger warning at all, this time is really different, the danger warning is very strong. It seems that this small meteorite was not attracted by the smile of Senior White 5 minutes ago. It flew in the universe for at least a day. The fire above his head was getting bigger and bigger. Luo Bing moved the clock hand with his index finger, he didn't want to be smashed into a meat pie. The screen turns again. Bug has been fixed. Today's ability has been delivered, please use it. Luo Bing was stunned. Could it be that he passed 12 o'clock 3 times and caused a bug? Only then did he gain 3 skills? Luo Bing glanced at the description of the time skill. At this stage, he can only use it 3 times a day, that is to say, this is the last time. Rashomon. Professor Du's teleportation. Luo Bing opened a door, then got in and disappeared. Sahara Desert. A wooden door appeared out of thin air. Luo Bing pushed open the door and walked out, looking at the top of his head. He was 3 times lucky to not close it. If that thing was brought by his luck, at the moment should be brought here. S.H.I.E.L.D headquarters. Monitored a meteorite from outer space, start intercepting. Start intercepting. Missile hit. Target derailed. Estimated arrival location, the Sahara Desert. Boom. Huge amounts of firelight fell in the desert, and the residual heat spread one after another. Luo Bing wiped his cold sweat, looked at the huge diamond planet in the distance, and immediately turned off his lucky halo. This is so. This luck is also a bit scary. Fine. Fortunately, I was thousands of miles away in an instant, and the tragedy in the community would not happen again. At the same time, Luo Bing looked at the small diamond planet not far away. This is so. This thing has at least 50 tons. Diamond. Asterisk. Chapter 42. Diamonds are actually just beautiful stones. Its molecular structure is actually very different from the basic structure of coal. But it's expensive. Although the price was fired by unscrupulous businessmen, it has to be said that he is still expensive. Because it is relatively rare, 1 carat of broken diamonds now costs $7,000 or $8,000, which is 500 grams per catty, and 1 carat is equal to 0.2 grams. That is to say, the worst broken diamond is about 18 million yuan per kilogram. If it is a fine loose diamond, it will be more expensive, with a guaranteed reserve price of $100 million, and there is no upper limit. The value of the 50-ton big guy in front of Luo Bing can no longer be estimated by the market price. This is a pure natural extraterrestrial diamond, and it is a whole one, and it has gone through a legendary career of cosmic drifting. If nothing else, it is said that he is a whole 50 tons of natural diamonds. If the news spreads, the diamond companies in the market will collapse. Rare is the most precious thing, and the supply of diamonds is now in short supply. The diamond giants have now begun to implement artificially synthesized moissanite diamonds to replace diamonds. I can't handle this big thing at all, can't move, forget it, just bury it on the spot and talk about it later. Luo Bing looked at the small meteorite that was still hot, and even the sand next to it was melted by its roasting heat. He opened the door, went back home, took out a shovel from the utility rack downstairs, and returned to the desert again, and began to work hard. Labor. The crater was too big. Luo Bing started at full power, and was half exhausted. It took almost half an hour to fill the crater. In order to prevent it from being found, Luo Bing also buried a children's door in the pit. After the burial, Luo Bing tried a small area cleaning technique. He just tried it, but the effect was surprisingly good, the burning marks and the smell of scorching in the air disappeared. After clapping his hands, Luo Bing opened the door and returned home, putting the shovel back in place. The large wooden door that Bang left in the desert instantly disappeared into a cloud of smoke. This ability is too convenient. It doesn't work very well with my Rashomon. Luo Bing became interested. Although it was already 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, he didn't bother to sleep, and immediately fell into researching new and supernatural joy. Luo Bing experimented with his teleportation in the room. According to the skill description, with the help of the abstract prop door, he can teleport across continents and oceans. In other words, he can travel anywhere he wants to go in one day. But if he didn't rely on the door, he could only teleport within 1 kilometer around him by relying on his fleshly body. But all the powers Luo Bing got strangely didn't need energy supply. Some abilities have a limit on the number of times they can be used, and some abilities have a limited range of use. And this Professor Du's teleportation ability has no limit on the number of times, that is to say, if Luo Bing can blink infinitely within a kilometer range. The speed of a jet plane is about 700 to 800 km per hour. Luo Bing can blink twice in 1 second, 1 kilometer each time, and maybe more after being proficient. That is to say, Luo Bing can reach a speed of 120 km per minute only by teleporting his body, which is only the minimum speed. Without any tools, Luo Bing's teleportation speed can crush any vehicle in the world. If it is used in combat, it is even more terrifying. Although from the current point of view, Luo Bing's teleportation is not very skilled, but with practice, he can appear strangely in various positions. Air, sea, underground. As long as the concept of space exists, Luo Bing can appear instantly. Definitely. The concept of space is different in each place, such as the seabed and the underground. If you are not careful, you will be stuck. Such a powerful skill has drawbacks that Luo Bing can't understand. That is, there is no saliva communication with aliens, which can be understood as kissing, otherwise the ability will be temporarily weakened, or even lose the ability for a period of time. What kind of weakness is this? I don't even know where there are aliens, how can I eat alien saliva? Are you crazy? Luo Bing disagreed and didn't take this to heart. As long as he didn't say it, who knew it would be a weakness? As for the time ability, it can be used 3 times a day, and it can only be adjusted for 5 minutes before and after. Although it seems useless, Luo Bing has seen its usefulness just now. Time and space, these are the 2 most mysterious abilities. Next is the Ergu Jade Writing Wheel Eye. The biggest difference from a Guyu is that there is another Guyu in the eye socket. Ability is a lot stronger, and then it doesn't seem to be any different. Luo Bing stared straight at the mirror and was a little stunned when he looked at his bewitching eyes. There seemed to be an illusion hidden in those eyes, but what is illusion and what is illusion, Luo Bing doesn't understand at all. As the owner of the eyes, he couldn't use it on himself even in front of the mirror. So he can't experiment. Never mind, today is full of harvest sleep. Luo Bing covered his head, and Mimi fell into a deep sleep. 3 hours later, an SHIELD plane schemed over the Sahara Desert. The desert was so huge that the plane found nothing, and finally returned the same way. Then tonight's events were recorded in the SHIELD secret case. The next morning, Luo Bing got up early to check his big diamond, found that he was relieved after that, and then considered finding a buyer for this big treasure. Buyers are just joking. Who can afford such a big thing? It's expensive, but it's not easy to handle, and it's not practical. And many more. Maybe talk to Tony Stark? Luo Bing immediately thought of this playboy. After all, he was the only local tyrant he knew. He dug out the phone number he had left for himself that day from the locker, hesitation, and Luo Bing dialed it. Hey, this is Tony, who are you? Stark's uncertain voice came from the other end of the phone, and few people knew his number. Mr. Shi Stark, it's me, Luo Bing. I don't know if it's convenient for you now. I have a business deal with you, Luo Bing said bluntly. Oh, it's Robin Agent, I remember you, and I actually want to talk to you about a business. Tony on the other end of the phone was a little surprised. He can remember this superhero that impressed him. Although Fury warned him that the Robin Agent is not a good person to get along with, he still wanted to try it. If such a superhero can be his own bodyguard, it is simply too safe. It's Luo Bing, not Robin. Well, it doesn't matter, are you free now? I'll find you. Luo Bing shook his head and asked. Unfortunately, I'm holding a military weapons conference today. I'm in the Middle East now, and it's estimated that I won't be back until 2 or 3 days. But it doesn't matter. When I get back to New York, I will contact you as soon as possible. What kind of beauties do you like? I'll make arrangements for you. Tony laughed. Luo Bing. Okay, then I'll wait for you to come back. I wish you a smooth journey, Mr. Shi Stark, Luo Bing said sincerely. Although I don't know why Shi Stark is also looking for him, it's not a bad thing, and it just doesn't make it so embarrassing to sell directly to the door. Luo Bing stretched, and the communicator sent an emergency call from Phil Coulson. Robin, I have great news for you. The exploration team of S.H.I.E.L.D. found the frozen Captain America in the Pacific Ocean early this morning. He still has vital signs. If it's all right, please come to headquarters, you may need your help here. Asterisk. Chapter 43. S.H.I.E.L.D. Headquarters, Tri-Wing Building. When will he wake up? Luo Bing looked at the old popsicle in the isolation bin and asked Fury next to him. As for Phil Coulson, he's now a big fan of groupies, lying on the glass and can't wait to run over to wake up Captain America for an autograph. It's a miracle that he is alive. I came to you this time to ask you if there is any super ability that can help him wake him up quickly. Fury looked at Luo Bing and asked in a flat tone. Luo Bing. I rely on you to take me for what? Doraemon. Can this thing be customized? Fury sneered, aren't you super ability? Who knows what else you have? You were in Midtown just now, and it didn't take long for you to come to the headquarters building. I wouldn't believe you could run so fast, unless you could fly. Before, Fury just thought Luo Bing was a lucky boy who's suddenly awakening super ability. But now he doesn't think so. This guy is definitely not easy. But Fury is not someone who hasn't seen the world. He used to have an old buddy who could destroy the Earth in an instant with full horsepower, but the girl is now busy saving the world from the entire universe, so she doesn't care about him. There will always be some unexplainable things in this world, and he will be relieved when he encounters more. I won't, maybe you can try putting it in the microwave to warm it up. Maybe he will wake up when the ice melts, Luo Bing gave his advice. He is not very interested in Captain America, there is no story about him in Chinatown. Luo Bing grew up listening to Monkey King. If his time ability is still available today, he might as well try throwing the captain into the microwave to heat it up. If you are familiar with it, you can also reverse time and go back to the past. Are you sure it will wake up? Fury. The black marinated egg was very speechless. Luo Bing gave Luo Bing a blank look. Couldn't this guy give some good attention? First, de-icing is definitely a must. Fury was worried, though. Now the captain who is sealed in the ice still has the characteristics of life. If the ice melts and then he dies, wouldn't he harm the captain? The reason why I called Luo Bing here today is mainly because I think his luck has been surprisingly strong in the past 2 days. S.H.I.E.L.D is a genius, and the news of Luo Bing winning the lottery has already reached Fury's ears. In fact, no one paid attention to these at first, but the coincidences one after another made Fury inquire about it intentionally. Only then did Luo Bing's terrifying luck be discovered. So today I plan to let him come over as a mascot. The question just now was just a casual remark. He didn't believe that Luo Bing had the ability to wake up the captain, but the guy's answer was too bad, which made Fury's liver hurt. However, Fury didn't know that Luo Bing had already turned off his lucky aura. I'm afraid this mascot can't be made. Go on, the medical team will follow and start de-icing. If there is any danger, stop immediately. Hey, Braided Dan waved his hand, and everyone in the room was busy. The salvage of Captain America from the Pacific Ocean is a level 10 clearance secret. Except for these people involved and Luo Bing Phil Coulson, the others are still carrying out their work as usual, unaware of this matter. Luo Bing was bored in the room watching. He seems to be really regarded as a lucky thing. There are always agents pushing the food cart to bring delicious food. Fury is afraid that he will be bored, so he specially made a tablet for him and watched a movie. Report to the director, the ice-breaking operation is completed, the captain is in good condition, and his vital signs are gradually recovering. According to the prediction of the scientific team, he should wake up in a few days. An agent rushed to spread the good news. Haha, okay. Fury glanced at Luo Bing and nodded. Sure enough, this guy is a mascot. The captain who has been frozen for 70 years can be safe and sound, this kid is really a treasure. Luo Bing was bored drinking top red wine with junk food and watching movies. He just didn't eat lunch, so he was full. Nice job, Robin Agent, I'll put the reward for this mission on your card later, Fury said, showing a thumbs up, and then walked towards the isolation room impatiently. A legend that has been frozen for 70 years. After waking up, I don't know what kind of demeanor? Luo Bing was stunned for a moment, embarrassed, he really didn't help anything. I don't know what the black braised egg has misunderstood, but he dared to accept the money if the other party dared to give it. Money is a good thing. There is no Luo Bing here, so he is bored around the Songqi headquarters building. Look, Robin the Mute, run. Don't be banned by him. This guy is very evil. I heard that this guy cut off an arm of Jin Bingdu. Along the way, Luo Bing just wanted to say hello to the passing agent. Roar saw the other party walk away with a terrified face, and his footsteps were hurried, as if he would eat them. As for what? Luo Bing rolled his eyes and walked towards the training room. The last time Natasha Romanoff gave him a tour, other than that, he hadn't really used the training room equipment. Although Luo Bing has a strong ability, his physical fitness is only slightly stronger than that of normal people, but it is not much stronger. If he was made into a popsicle, let alone 70 years, he would be stunned in a day or two. So usually at home, Luo Bing also climbs to the roof to train himself, but S.H.I.E.L.D has more training equipment than the high level at home. Hu Barton was sweating profusely in the training room doing recovery training. After 2 days of training, his injury has almost recovered. Hey, Senior Hawkeye, what a coincidence! Luo Bing came over and made a move. Roar. You're actually at headquarters, Robin, thank you for what happened last time. Hawkeye stopped to take a sip of water and wiped the sweat from his forehead. If it wasn't for Robin's support last time, he might have suffered, just dealing with a bullseye was enough of a headache for him, not to mention the owner of the bullseye, Jin Bing. It's just a mission, nothing to thank you for. Luo Bing waved his hand and picked up Hawkeye's training bow from the side. I saw you have good eyesight last time. You might also consider using a bow and arrow, Barton suggested, holding out an arrow. I don't know anything about this stuff. Luo Bing took the arrow, and did not open his own writing wheel, he just shot the bow. Call out the arrow precisely hit the bullseye in the distance. Luo Bing was stunned. When he just shot the arrow, he felt that his luck halo had changed a bit. It seemed that some luck had penetrated into the arrow. It seems that luck can also be used this way? Luo Bing shot a few more arrows in a row, all of which hit the bullseye with precision. Then, he closed his eyes and shot a few more arrows, but he still hit the bullseye exactly. Barton on the side was sweating coldly. How could he have the illusion that he was going to lose his job? You don't know anything about this kind of archery? Asterisk. Chapter 44. Not just bows and arrows, Luo Bing has a weird hit rate bonus on everything that can be thrown. It's a little embarrassing to say. As an agent, he can't even use a gun. However, this kind of thing is easy to learn. Luo Bing has not learned it systematically before. With Barton's 3-minute teaching, Luo Bing successfully learned to shoot. Whether or not the trigger will be pulled is Luo Bing's business. Whether the bullet hits the bullseye or not is a matter of luck. Simply, Luo Bing's luck has always been so powerful. The bullet hits nowhere other than the bullseye. Poor Barton looked dumbfounded on the sidelines. God knows how this guy does it. The guy who didn't even turn off the insurance 3 minutes ago, and his marksmanship 3 minutes later? Hit the bullseye with precision every time. Is this guy shooting himself? Barton took a hit. Looking at Luo Bing, who was holding a submachine gun and the bullet landed at one point like a monster, he didn't know what to say. Are you getting old? It's not right, my 30-year-old guy, when he is young and strong, how can he be old? Senior Hawkeye, thank you for your guidance, I seem to be able to use all these firearms. Luo Bing gave Barton a thumbs up. You better call me Barton. Barton wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. If you are just like you can use it, what about me? Where do you put all the faces of S.H.I.E.L.D agents? Okay, Senior Barton. Luo Bing nodded. Barton is speechless. I just don't want you to be called Senior. That's why you are called Barton. I can't afford it. Boss. Forgive me, let someone else strike, okay? Please. Barton's pride as an 8th level agent in S.H.I.E.L.D legend shattered. No, I can't just admit defeat like this. I may not be as accurate as him, but as an agent for so many years, the fighting skills I have honed between life and death are not weak at all. Robin is younger than me, his body is still developing, and his experience is not as good as me. Barton decided in his heart, and finally let out a sigh of relief from roar, feeling that his whole body was much more relaxed. Robin, let's practice, we don't need weapons, the moment we run out of bullets, and at the critical moment, we have to rely on the ability to fight with your body. Barton's eyes suddenly lit up and he looked at Luo Bing. Okay. Luo Bing definitely nodded in agreement. The two came to the fighting training room next door. There were a lot of people in the room training here. They saw Barton and Luo Bing coming one after another, first nodding at Barton's adoration, then looking at Luo Bing, and subconsciously taking a few steps back. Luo Bing and Barton came to an open space, which attracted the attention of many people. Many people stopped fighting and looked over subconsciously. Robin, doing your best is the greatest respect for your opponent. I won't let go of water, are you ready? Barton asked, raising his fists to his chest, bowed his waist slightly, and looked very serious. He is entering a combat state, and the agent present can see it at a glance. Barton's eyes were staring at Luo Bing, his eyes swept across Luo Bing, and he could easily see the flaws in the other party's body. Okay, I'll be serious too. Luo Bing took a deep breath and put on a fighting stance. Is Robin the Silencer going to practice with Senior Hawkeye? Great. Hit his chin hard. The Silencer Robin is only super ability terrifying, and the fighting ability must not be as good as Senior Hawkeye, come on. Senior Hawkeye, repair him. Many agents began to shout at the side. Why are they so hostile to you? Hawkeye naturally heard roars shouts from the people around him, frowned, and looked at Luo Bing in confusion. Maybe it's because I'm too handsome. Luo Bing pursed the corners of his mouth, not caring at all. Indeed, to be honest, I'm a little jealous of you. Barton smiled, in a tone that didn't sound like he was joking. Luo Bing is really handsome, and even some movie stars can't compare to him. Barton also had a bright feeling when he first saw him. That is a kind of handsome that crosses the international aesthetics. It may not be amazing in the United States. If it is in Asia, it will definitely make many little girls sleepless at night. Come on! Barton shouted, taking the lead. Okay. Luo Bing responded and became serious. Boom! In less than a second, a black shadow flew out. Hush! Barton clutched his stomach and took a deep breath. Are you all right, Senior Barton? Luo Bing hurried over to help, startled. Hey! The agent who was watching around saw this scene, and immediately his eyes were erratic. He smacked his mouth, and was too scared to speak. This silencer Robin is too strong. His movements are almost blurry. Senior Hawkeye was knocked out in an instant. Cough cough. Hawkeye coughed twice, looking at Robin strangely. So fast, it feels like I've been hit by light. I didn't expect your fighting ability to be so powerful. You deserve to be the one who can defeat Jin Bing. Barton cast a look of approval at Luo Bing. Luo Bing smiled awkwardly. What kind of fighting skills does he have? Under Beast's instinctive dispatch, he reacted completely instinctively. But after acquiring the instant ability, the instinctive reaction automatically applies this ability to fighting? What Hawkeye is talking about being hit by light, is the effect. If at the moment had an ultra-high-speed camera, through 20x slow-moving, you could see Luo Bing's body disappearing instantly, and then moving forward by about 2 centimeters? No more, no more, no more, Barton sighed. It feels like training against monsters. The opponent's speed is so terrifying, and his fist can't touch him at all, so what to beat? Beat it to death? Barton was heartbroken. This is the first time that he has been crushed in every way and abused to the point of losing his temper. At this time, buzz! Luo Bing and Hawkeye's communication bracelets vibrated at the same time. Barton, Robin, we've got a mission. Something happened to Stark, and the military is asking for our support, Fury said into the communicator. Asterisk. Chapter 45. Hot winds blow the bad surface of the Gobi, making the air scorching hot, and most of the battle areas in AFCON are such barren plains. Maybe people lived here before, but now it's deserted, and at this time and now, ordinary people can't survive even an hour without supplementing their drinking water. The armed forces are temporarily stationed in the area. It has been 1 day and 6 hours since Stark disappeared. At first, the military thought he had been killed by terrorists' artillery fire, but later searched the battlefield but did not find his body. But it wasn't all for nothing, at least they found soil containing Tony's blood DNA. It's not good news, it means Tony may still be alive, but he's badly injured and can't get out of this desert on his own, leaving only one possibility. He was captured by terrorists. Colonel Roddy got down from the helicopter in a state of dismay. He drove a helicopter all night in this desert to find it, but in front of him, except for the desert, there was no trace of any terrorists at all. Damn it! Where are these rats hiding? Roddy added the water source angrily. As one of Tony's few friends, at the moment is the only one who cares so much. Even though he was an ace flightman, he was physically exhausted from the day-long search. The hardest part of this task is patience. In the face of the vast yellow sand, you can only feel hopeless from this area. When will the people from S.H.I.E.L.D. arrive? Roddy wiped the sweat from his forehead and asked the contact person next to him. As soon as he finished speaking, the people around him, including himself, looked at the top of their heads subconsciously. The hot barracks suddenly ushered in a shadow, followed by a harsh humming sound. Buzz Quince landed here. A young man stepped out of the cabin, looking 17 or 18 years old, Asian, wearing black sunglasses, like a student going out for a tour. That's Luo Bing. Since he could not find the spatial coordinates of the armed base, he was sent by Kunchi. I don't know if it's because of the trust in him or because of the lack of population in SHIELD. He was the only one in this operation, and Hawkeye was urgently transferred to other places. Are you Robin Agent? Colonel Roddy asked uncertainly. Not long after Luo Bing joined S.H.I.E.L.D., his name has not been known by some forces. And his status is special. The identity of the super ability advisor is confidential. On the bright side, he is just an ordinary 7th level agent. Unremarkable. Level 7 agent? Although no one would believe it if he was killed, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s level 7 agent was unremarkable and unremarkable. Hello. Luo Bing nodded, beckoning roar. At the moment, he wasn't too anxious. He saw some pictures through the sleep prophecy of the Great Toad, the ancestor of the 7th Hokage's psychic beast, Tony Stark seemed to be safe and sound. He was being locked up in a small dark house, tinkling iron. Correct. This stinky and long ability related to the 7th Hokage was refreshed last night by him. This 7th Hokage is a thing. Luo Bing doesn't know why he has been brushing against him recently. But still very useful. Although he knew that he didn't understand how this prophecy was triggered, but the dream was over. Thinking about it every day and dreaming at night, it seems that his doubts will be revealed to him in the dream at night. This is another incomprehensible ability. But the quality is surprisingly high. Since the blessing of Lucky Aura, abilities now either involve space or time, and now they all involve mystery. In fact, Luo Bing also tried to use the time ability to go back 5 minutes before brushing the ability last night. Unfortunately it failed. As suggested in my mind, it seems that this bug has really been fixed. Maybe it was because of luck that I got stuck on this bug in the beginning. You're the only one. Roddy frowned, and the youth of the other party made him feel distrustful. In addition, I was in a bad mood at the moment, and I had some complaints about S.H.I.E.L.D. in my heart. He had heard of many great people in S.H.I.E.L.D, but never heard of this Robin. Where did this guy come from? Just sent over to deal with it, right? S.H.I.E.L.D does not belong to any country, and is now jointly supported by the World Federation, so even the military is not qualified to assign tasks, it can only be a request. A soldier came out of the warehouse with a water wheel. Papa! Due to the unevenness of the road, the full bucket of water fell directly to the ground and was quickly absorbed by the hot sand. What are you doing to eat? Do you know how precious the water is here? FK. Roddy pointed at the soldier and scolded, in a terrible mood at the moment. Being interrupted, Luo Bing took off his glasses in embarrassment. Yes, it's just me, please don't worry, I will complete the task as soon as possible. Luo Bing smiled. It was the first time he went out to work alone, and the other party seemed to be an officer, so he was still very polite. I hope so, Roddy snorted, turned and walked towards the helicopter again. The helicopter has just been filled with fuel, instead of relying on others, he only believes in himself. The Kunchi flew to the base the moment he put down Luo Bing, and every Kunchi of S.H.I.E.L.D was lined up for a day's worth of tasks. Hey, kid, this is the communicator and food sent to you, just find a bunk in the military camp, said a shirtless soldier with disdain. Where's the water? Luo Bing asked with a frown. No, be thirsty, wait for tomorrow. The soldier shook his head disdainfully, took out the belt from his waist and poured a sip of water into his mouth. Roar! Luo Bing took a deep breath, the smile on his face gradually turned cold. SHH! The soldier's head fell to the ground, and the people around him screamed in surprise. He raised the gun in his hand and pointed it at Luo Bing's head. What's the matter with you? Do you want to be punished by a military court? Luo Di was furious and looked at Luo Bing in disbelief. Luo Bing sheathed his knife and shook his head. Screwed up again. I wanted to make a good impression. Still have to be tough, never mind. Back it up. OM. The hot army camp suddenly ushered in a shadow. Luo Bing stepped down from the kun style and glanced at Luo Di. Are you Robin agent? Colonel Roddy asked uncertainly. Luo Bing ignored him and walked past him. A hapless guy pushed a cart of water out and was about to overturn while passing Luo Bing. Luo Bing kicked and the water cart returned to its balance. He came to the chest-haired soldier on his own, no one could see how he shot, but saw that the map and communication device in the soldier's hand disappeared. Don't disturb me, Luo Bing said impatiently, turned and walked towards the camp. A group of soldiers, including Roddy, looked at this scene stupidly. This guy is so cool. The chest-haired American soldier swallowed stupidly. As expected of SHIELD. Roddy nodded reassuringly. Asterisk. Chapter 46. Casually walked into a camp, and it seemed to be arranged. This was the temporary residence of the officers, but Luo Bing didn't care about this. He grabbed a ballpoint pen from the table. The map you just got is spread out on the desktop. According to the impression in his mind, Luo Bing opened the writing wheel and began to compare it with the one on the map. Because it is a dream, the mountains and scenes in my impression are a little blurry. Plus the map is not complete. It is not easy to find the scene in the prophecy dream on the map. But Jade writing wheel eye micro-recognition ability is extremely powerful. Luo Bing's brain seems to be replaced by a quantum-level CPU, and he soon found similarities in some details. It should be here. Luo Bing took out a ballpoint pen and circled the coordinates on the map. The whole person disappeared in the camp in an instant. Robin Agent, do you need water? Roddy opened the tent with a smile on his face. What about people? Oh my, hell. Roddy's eyes widened, his dark face full of suspicion. Then he immediately sent people to search the entire camp, but still did not find the S.H.I.E.L.D visitor just now. What's going on? There's not a single vehicle in the camp? Here? He walks. Roddy was dumbfounded. How can this living person disappear and disappear? Unable to hold back the curiosity in his heart, Roddy applied to speak with S.H.I.E.L.D again. Oh. Fury replied. Oh, what do you mean, don't you care about your agent at all? Roddy asked cautiously, dumbfounded. Do your own thing, Colonel, Robin doesn't have to worry about us. Fury curled his lips and ended the call. While Roddy was on the phone with S.H.I.E.L.D, Robin was already lurking inside the terrorists. Mr. Stark seems to be talking and laughing in the surveillance room of the terrorists. Robin nibbled at the apple on the side and watched the surveillance screen with interest. On the side, a few terrorists stood there dumbfounded, with red lights hidden in their eyes. Has the Shakern hypnotic ability? In the cave, the genius weapon designer Tony Stark was beating iron with a lifeless face. His face was covered with blood-stained gauze, and his left arm was covered with a thick bandage. He was wearing a faded military coat, his hair was messy, and he was still handsome, just like a refugee. More striking is his chest, where there is a metal ring with 3 wires of different colors extending from it, which are connected to the battery at hand, which looks like some kind of evil scientist's experimental product, full of the confusion of postmodernism. Tony put away the hammer, wearing glasses wrapped with tape, and cautiously using tweezers to take out a delicate-looking chip from the tactical missile whose shell had been dismantled in front of him. Afterwards, he carefully glanced at the surveillance camera in the corner. Luo Bing laughed and made a victory gesture through the camera, but Stark didn't see it at all. He slowly wiped the sweat from his forehead, then took a deep breath, moving his hands, and inserting a rough needle that didn't meet the requirements at all into the bullet he had completely dismantled on the side. ZZ. Tony sucked a lot of silver grey-like mercury-like things from it. Afterwards, he cautiously dropped it on a handmade gadget next to it that did not conform to the production rules at all, wrapped in coils and intertwined with metals. Buzz, the sound of electric current came. The coil lit up with a bright blue light, which looked very technological. Stark pulled the battery cord off his chest, and Ethan, who was beside him, carefully filled his chest with the energy heart of his heart. Success! Ethan looked at this scene in amazement, his excitement beyond words. Stark, you are a genius. The power of this thing can almost make your heart beat for 50 lifetimes. At the moment Ethan gave his praises without hesitation. Or, keep a big guy for 50 minutes, this is the magic weapon for us to go out. Tony said, quietly avoiding the camera, and took out a large stack of transparent design drawings from his arms. What is this? Ethan glanced at the camera with a guilty conscience and asked in a low voice. Fly over the valley gear. Tony clenched his fists, his face full of confidence. Luo Bing watched while biting an apple, just like watching a TV show. It's pretty good. It seems that Mr. Stark has found a way to save himself. I should not interrupt them. The iron door of the monitoring room of Bang was kicked open from the outside, forcibly interrupting Luo Bing's chasing drama. A terrorist with a tattoo next to his ear walked in, followed by 4 or 5 of his subordinates. At number, Yuan, at number they first glanced at Luo Bing in shock, then mumbled something, raised their guns and pointed at Luo Bing's head. Oh buddy, take it easy. Luo Bing took a bite of the apple, his eyes twirling slowly. Your mother told you to go home for dinner, get out of here, Luo Bing said. At number Yuan. Several terrorists nodded, then turned around in unison, looking very funny. It's too easy for ordinary people like Sharanyan hypnotic ability. Luo Bing yawned, checked the time, made himself a crystal coffin with Rashomon, left some cracks in the window, lay there and fell asleep. Take a nap. I didn't sleep well on the plane again last night, make up for sleep. Luo Bing groaned and fell asleep. Where is this? Wait. I seem to be dreaming again. No, this is the picture in the prophecy. Luo Bing woke up immediately. It wasn't that he was awake, but he was awake in a dream. Where is this? What are the lottery numbers today? This was the first question of the sober Luo Bing. No, I'm lucky, I don't need to know the lottery number. This is the reply I gave to myself after sobering up. ZZ. A big man with a hammer in his hand rushed over with a flash of lightning. FK. This was Luo Bing's third exclamation after he woke up. Luo Bing was startled and avoided subconsciously. At this time, he realized that the self in the dream didn't seem to have a body, and he didn't need to avoid it at all. So he obediently continued to watch the trend of the picture in the prophecy. Loki. The big man with the hammer shouted with affection. Thor. The robot with eyes like two flashlights responded affectionately. Crackling. One person and one robot communicated affectionately. Luo Bing woke up and rubbed his eyes. Walter. Asterisk. Chapter 47. Luo Bing, who woke up, touched his chin, recalling the prophecy he had just seen. Or is that not a prophecy? I have watched too many sci-fi movies? Luo Bing shook his head. Fury just showed him a copy of I, Robot last morning. He had never heard of the big hammer man with golden hair and the metal giant with two light bulbs. The big man was dressed as if he had traveled through ancient times. There is even a red cloak behind him? Without thinking about the strange dream, Luo Bing turned to look at the surveillance screen beside him. Dang dang dang. Tony was still hammering. Seeing that he was very hot, he took off his original clothes, leaving only a black t-shirt with a gleaming blue light on his chest. Looks like a modified Superman fighter. On the side, it seems that many parts have been knocked out by him under the ironwork in the afternoon. Like medieval plate armor, heavy and hard. Looking at the time, Luo Bing stretched, not ready to wait any longer, because it was almost time for dinner. Luo Bing doesn't want to have his dinner in this place where birds don't shit. The people here don't know that they haven't bathed in hundreds of years, and they stink all over. Right. This is a desert, and nothing is more precious than water. Luo Bing left the monitoring room and walked towards Dungeon, who was detaining Stark. Wait, Ethan, there are footsteps. Tony was startled, and Ethan, who was beside him, hurriedly started to clean up the parts on the table. Squeak. The iron door opened slowly, making a heavy sound. Tony was sweating coldly, trying to cover the parts he made with the missile parts on the table, and his heart was beating powerfully. What should I do? Ethan on the side also got angry. The parts they built are so conspicuous that if found, the terrorists will not spare them. Damn, it's almost time, Ethan, cooperate with me, I can only try my best to disguise. Stark took a deep roar inhalation, and slowly calmed down his mood, so that his face wouldn't look so bad. As a businessman, he does an excellent job of masking his emotions. Bang! The door was kicked open with force. Luo Bing frowned and put away his feet. This broken door, I don't know how many layers of rust have grown, and it is so difficult to open with a key. Hi, Mr. Stark, good evening. Luo Bing waved his hand and blinked at Tony Stark, who was stunned in front of him. Robin. Hell. What are you doing here? No, great, you're here. Robin. Well. Tony is not good at hiding his emotions at all. When he saw Luo Bing, he was so excited that he almost jumped up, happy like a 800-pound child. Hey, don't come here, okay, don't hug my thigh. Hey, Mr. Stark, what are you doing? Luo Bing had a black line on his face. Ethan on the side was even more stunned. He didn't know what happened yet. He just felt that Tony, who he thought was a genius just now, had a shattered image in his heart at the moment. If given the chance, he decided to take back the compliments of Stark. How did you find me? You're amazing. I really want to kiss you. Stark got up from the ground excitedly, oh my god. His snot is almost staying. It might also be the ghost weather here made him catch a cold. You better not do that, Luo Bing threatened with a dark face. At the moment, he really wanted to get out of here immediately and let this guy die by himself. Ha, Tony was indescribably excited. What about the 10 rings? Ethan asked cautiously from the side. From the scene, the young man on the other side seems to be the rescuer who came to rescue Tony, and it can be seen from Tony's performance that this young man is very powerful, or he is not the only one here, at least outside an army. Oh? Are they 10 rings? Luo Bing blinked, he didn't know which faction the terrorists here belonged to before. After all, language barrier. What's more, Luo Bing didn't even think to ask. Did you kill them all? Tony took a deep roar breath again and asked Luo Bing eagerly. No, they are still outside, Luo Bing replied. So, you sneaked in? No, there are cameras here, we've been spotted, and they'll be here soon. Tony said, feeling tense again in an instant. I know actually, I came very early. I stayed in the monitoring room all day and took a nap. Otherwise, your little actions would have been discovered long ago. Luo Bing shrugged, his face boring. What? You stayed in the monitoring room for an afternoon? Why didn't you come earlier? Do you know how I spent this afternoon? I almost cried. You guy, it's not interesting at all, you are just in the monitoring room, just watch. Tony was aggrieved like an unloved little daughter-in-law. Looking at Luo Bing's eyes also became more resentful. I didn't watch it. I ate 3 apples very hard, and I finally finished digesting it. I'm also very tired, okay? Luo Bing rolled his eyes, not knowing how much he said. Irritating. Also, I see that you are busy, so I don't feel embarrassed to interrupt. All right. Tony was choked up already. You are a boss now, what you say is what you say is right, and what you do is reasonable. Thinking back on all the gasoline-smelling real junk food he ate last night and even this morning, Tony had the urge to cry. Boss, you are nibbling on fresh fruit in the desert and watching me eat garbage, do you have any conscience? Okay, don't look at me, do you still want to go out? Luo Bing waved his hand impatiently. Definitely. Tony immediately started packing his bags. But the next moment, he realized that he had no luggage at all. However, when he saw the half-finished product on the workbench, he still felt itchy. Boss Robin, can you wait a little longer? My equipment is almost finished, and there is more hope when I run away. Tony asked suddenly. What the hell are you knocking? Robin was also very curious. High-tech medical prosthetics, Tony said, then closed the door and started BG again. Luo Bing watched from the side, and when he saw Tony put 2 rockets on his arm, he twitched the corner of his mouth. Are you sure this thing is for the hospital? Why do I look like I put someone in the hospital? Asterisk. Chapter 48. With no worries at all, Tony is not secretive when he builds his equipment. He and Ethan were building different parts at the same time, saving a lot of time. In the past, 2 people worked in shifts, taking turns to pick up some small parts by the door, fearing that terrorists would suddenly break in. Luo Bing watched from the side. He wasn't going to help. Actually, he couldn't be of much help either. One of the 2 is a genius scientist, and the other is an experienced doctor and scientist. In this regard, Luo Bing really doesn't even have the qualifications to strike. After an hour, the wearing of the steel armor began. The armor as a whole looks like a medieval knight, with 2 complete tactical missile shells on both arms transformed into arm guards. Under the metal plate, there are 2 flamethrower-like faucets connected. In the tactical box behind it is an extra high power generator, which provides enough output for both arms. What makes Luo Bing feel the most is that this big guy is equipped with a flamethrower on the soles of his feet. That is to say, this heavy iron guy can theoretically fly up, but as for how to land, because of the lack of materials and the lack of time, Tony ignored it for the time being. As he thinks, just turn the injector power down a bit. To some extent, geniuses and lunatics are no different. Haha, Ethan, give me my mask and press the computer's startup program. Stark was in a good mood at the moment, and raised his eyebrows at Luo Bing proudly, as if showing off. It looks pretty good. Luo Bing gave a rare nod, it seemed that he didn't wait for this day in vain. Finally, after everything was ready, the small reactor on Stark's chest emitted a bright light, driving the entire armor to fall to the ground. Bang! A crack appeared on the cement floor. This feels great, leave it to me next. Tony in the armor was full of confidence, and the manipulator's metal arm grabbed the iron door. Click! The iron door behind it was violently torn open by him, and the power of the armor was undoubtedly revealed. Isn't that door open? Luo Bing had a black line on his face. This guy, he's so handsome when he finds the right time. Haha, test it, test it. Tony waved his hand angrily, strode towards the passage in front of him, and signaled the 2 behind him to follow. Result. Da-da-da-da-da. The 10 rings who heard the sound came up and gave him a few rounds of bullets. Sparks flew everywhere, Tony was completely in the armor, only the eyes were exposed. He covered the eye sockets with his hands, and the whole person constantly retreated under the impact of the bullets. FK. What kind of monster is this? The people from Ten Rings began to scream again in a language that Luo Bing couldn't understand. Shi Stark turned on the flamethrower in his arm, and a large amount of fire filled the entire tunnel. Constantly someone gets ignited or even roasted to a stinky stench. Can you do it? Luo Bing frowned as he looked at the stray bullets that bounced around. Boss, I can't stand it. Due to the lack of time, the main weapon I originally designed has not been installed. If I use rockets, it will blow up the tunnel and bury us alive. Tony shouted in embarrassment. You said it earlier. Luo Bing rolled his eyes, pulled out 2 steel cutting knives from behind, and disappeared instantly. Clanging, the blade slid through a graceful curve, and Luo Bing returned to the spot after 2 seconds. Dong dong dong. The dozen or so terrorists who were still charging with their axe split their heads and bodies in an instant and fell to the ground. Tony, what the hell? Do magic. How did you do that? Tony's head was full of question marks, and Ethan behind him gave him a ghostly expression. He squinted at Luo Bing, compared him with the image of the Demon King of Hell, and finally felt that Death God was more suitable for him. If it wasn't for the inconvenience of wearing armor now, Tony would make sure to hug Luo Bing's thigh as soon as possible. Boss, you are too arrogant. I want to learn this trick. The 3 of them approached the entrance of the cave so brightly. Because Shi Stark was too bulky, the 3 of them walked for 5 or 6 minutes. There was a Gatling at a 36-degree angle diagonally opposite, and it blew him up. Luo Bing commanded. Okay boss. Tony raised his right arm, aimed with his eyes, and fired 2 rockets with a slam of PIU. However, because the armored helmet blocked his vision, this shot was slightly missed, and one of them landed in the base's ammunition depot. Oh my! It's going to explode! Tony exclaimed. All the weapons outside were made by Shi Stark Company. As a qualified munitionsman, he knew in his heart how powerful an explosion would be. That can completely destroy this valley. Catch me! I'll fly you out! Tony said, picking up Ethan's collar with one hand, and just about to grab Luo Bing with the other, but found that he was no longer there. When I turned around, Robin was floating in the sky. Wait for me, big guy. Tony pressed a device in his hand, and instantly a large amount of fire was sprayed from the soles of his feet. Under the acceleration of the driving force, he quickly flew into the sky. Pfft! Poof! The injector under his feet was like a fart, and after getting out of the blast range, Tony went straight towards the ground and loaded it. If nothing else, he would fall badly. As for Ethan, who has no protection by his side. Although this is a desert, he is bound to die. Fortunately, Luo Bing is here. Tony and Ethan constantly smashed several wooden doors in the air and finally landed safely on the ground. It's just that Ethan was hit a little bit. However, because the body of the armor is too heavy, when falling, Tony wearing the armor descends faster than Ethan, and basically all the points of force are carried by Tony. Roar! Tony threw away the disfigured mask, feeling that his whole body was about to fall apart. Are you happy to fly, Rocket Boy? Luo Bing asked with a raised eyebrow as he slid all the way to Tony on the glass slide. To be honest, his flight status just now was as hilarious as a rocket launch. Why do I feel like you're in a playground? Tony stared at the glass slide track behind Luo Bing with a black line. Although I don't know how this came about, what is the principle? But since I have something to do, why make me smash the door to slow down? Give me one too. Conscience will not hurt. Asterisk. Chapter 49. The cold wind brushed against Tony Stark's face. There is a large temperature difference between day and night in the desert. It feels so good to escape. Tony took off his heavy armor with the help of Ethan. Although this thing only played for 10 minutes, it has now been declared scrapped. The mission is over, I've sent you the coordinates, come and pick me up. Luo Bing picked up the communication equipment he had left in the morning and initiated contact with the temporary US military base. What? Okay, Tony, is he all right? Roddy was surprised. When he received the call, he was startled and asked several questions in an uncertain tone. Luo Bing directly hung up the contact and turned to look at Shi Stark. I've made arrangements. You go forward and see that sand dune. The US military helicopter will pick you up there. Okay, thank you boss. Wait, don't you come with us. Tony nodded first, then found the details in Luo Bing's words, scratched his head, and looked over in confusion. No, I'm going home to take a shower, it's time to eat, Luo Bing said, then summoned a wooden classical door beside him. She, Stark and Ethan looked over in astonishment. It's magic again. Wait, boss, what are you doing changing a door in the desert? Tony was very puzzled. He had a very clear impression of this door, and he smashed a few doors just now. Going home, Luo Bing said, pulling the door handle, but another world appeared inside the door frame. That is the middle city, thousands of miles away. Luo Bing's rental property. There was also a faint smell of food wafting from the door, making Tony, who was already hungry, instantly smothered with chicken blood. Walter fuck. Tony rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Ethan on the side was not much better. Doraemon's random door. Tony exclaimed. This scene is very similar to a comic book he once read. See you later, I wish you all a smooth journey. Luo Bing waved his hand and stepped into the door. Big guy. No, take us with you. She Stark rushed up. However, he just hit a cloud of smoke. Cough cough. Tony bleeds gloomily. Big brother, this is too unfriendly, you should have said this earlier. Why should we go to that bandit den? Open the door directly and walk away soon. Is it over? Why is it so shocking? Tony seems to have forgotten that he was the one who led the charge and forged ahead. Not to blame Luo Bing. The two people who stayed in the desert looked at each other with a little helplessness in their eyes. Is your friend a god? Ethan helped Tony and climbed to the sand dunes not far away. He's the super ability advisor of SHIELD. He's such a cute and hateful guy. Tony was very depressed and slumped on the ground in annoyance. S.H.I.E.L.D. Super ability advisor. Ethan felt as if he had touched some great secret in the world, and buried his head deeply. S.H.I.E.L.D. is just a group of ordinary guys, only he is special. Tony curled his lips in disdain. He didn't have a good impression of SHIELD. I used to foolishly want to hire him to be my bodyguard with money. Looks like I'm so stupid, Tony said, laughing at himself, patiently waiting for the rescue plane to arrive. People like him shouldn't care about money at all, Ethan said meaningfully. In his eyes, Luo Bing is very mysterious, just like the gods in legends. I'm so thirsty, why is that BD roadie so slow? Tony murmured impatiently, his eyes were so dehydrated that his lips were chapped. Ah! Ethan sneezed, tightening his clothes. The ghost weather in the desert has a huge temperature difference between day and night. The two of them just sat slumped on the sand dunes, staring at the sunset that was about to fall in the sky, in a daze. Bang! A wooden door suddenly appeared beside the two of them. Big guy. Tony instantly cheered up and stood up excitedly. Luo Bing came out of the door with a hot hamburger and watermelon juice in his hand, a luxurious set menu of 15 yuan. Double. Big guy, great, I knew you wouldn't abandon us. Oh my, what's this, a hamburger? Watermelon juice. Give it to me. Tony's eyes turned green. Now his cravings for these fast foods are sky high. Take a look, top-notch imported watermelon juice, 5 million cups, luxurious meat biggies, 30 million pieces. Luo Bing read with a smile on his face. Tony. What the hell are you talking about? Ethan next to him covered his face. This god is really a special person. I take that back, the gods like money too. Don't miss it when you pass by, the price is fair, and the old man is not deceived. Luo Bing continued to read with a smile, completely ignoring Tony's eyes full of question marks. Okay, I'll buy it. I've bought it all, boss, give me your account number, and I'll ask the secretary to call you $1 billion later. Tony immediately stepped forward and took the fast food from Luo Bing. 1 billion. Luo Bing froze in place. What a math genius you are. According to my list price, these things are at most 100 million. All right. A billion and a billion may not make any difference in the eyes of this inhuman guy in front of him. Thank you for your patronage. Luo Bing threw out an account, turned around and left. He sold a total of 30 yuan of fast food for 1 billion yuan. At the moment, he was very happy. Welcome to come again. Tony gave Ethan a portion of the fast food in his hand and said vaguely while biting on the straw. Bang! The wooden door turned into smoke again and disappeared. Wait! Boss! Take me! Boss! Are you gone? Tony froze in place, he just focused on food. My brain is so funny. Welcome to the fart. Tony wanted to cry without tears, so he could only vent his anger by chewing on the hamburger in his hand. Mmm. It smells good. Soon. Buzz. A helicopter flew over from the distant sky. Hey, here Tony waved his hands excitedly, the burger in his hand was only half eaten, and Roddy was still fast. The helicopter stopped steadily, and Roddy ran down the helicopter with a look of excitement. Hey, brother, I'm here to save you. Where's the Robin agent? What are you holding in your hand? Are you calling this a hamburger, watermelon juice? Roddy's dark face was full of big doubts. Asterisk. Chapter 50. Roddy looked at Tony and Ethan in front of him with a sullen expression. He didn't know Ethan, but he was all too familiar with the food and drinks in their hands. The issue is, how could there be such a thing in this uninhabited desert? Could Master Ken expand his business and open a branch in the desert? Not scientific. Talking in a dream. And what about the Robin agent? I haven't thanked him properly yet. No knowledge. Tony rolled his eyes, ignoring Roddy's surprised look. What do you muggles know? Go on your happy bus. The two got on the plane, and Stark completely escaped the desert. Inside the rental room, Luo Bing raised his eyebrows as he watched the stacks of dishes brought by Sky. Is this woman not having enough fun? Of all the housewives who can cook, she is definitely the best at hacking. But cooking is not her specialty. Is this guy too busy? Try it. I think you seem to owe me an apology. Sky proudly untied his apron, took out the tableware and handed it to Luo Bing. It is quite easy to buy chopsticks in a nearby mall. Luo Bing picked up a piece of fried meat and chewed it in his mouth. It's like that now. Well, great progress. Luo Bing suddenly stopped talking, and held his forehead. Sweat ran across his forehead and dripped onto the ground with a crisp sound. A sense of powerlessness filled Luo Bing's body, and he was about to fall to the ground staggering. What's wrong with you? Don't scare me. Sky immediately picked Luo Bing up in a hurry. Hey! Did you take medicine with your meal? So vicious, you woman. Luo Bing's body was hot, and it gradually weakened after more than 10 seconds, and he shivered. Did you catch a cold under the temperature difference between day and night in the desert? Or got some disease from those filthy terrorists? I didn't, I really didn't, you're not kidding me. Sky hurriedly helped Luo Bing, carefully helped him on the sofa lying beside him, and put his hand on his forehead to try. It's hot. Are you sick? I'll take you to the hospital. Sky said, took off his woolen coat and put it on Luo Bing. How could my body get sick casually? Just let me lie down for a while. Luo Bing waved his hand to refuse. You lie down first, I'll pour you a glass of hot water. Sky was in a hurry, she had never been so nervous before. At the moment, her heart was beating fast. The water is coming, wait, it's hot. The little beauty was nervously blowing hot air with her small mouth, and the hot air hit Luo Bing's face. Luo Bing was stunned for a while, looked at Sky's mouth, and suddenly had some thoughts in his heart. Then try your own space ability. Really? Spatial ability is temporarily gone. According to the feeling, it seems that it will take 2 hours for his space ability to recover. Luo Bing narrowed his eyes and looked at Sky curiously. Are you an alien? Luo Bing asked with a frown. Ah! Sky was stunned. At the moment, she was carefully blowing hot water, and she didn't understand what Luo Bing was talking about. Are you an alien? Luo Bing asked again. What? What are you talking about? Isn't your brain burned out? Sky was even more anxious. This dead guy is starting to talk nonsense now, who knows if he will have a fever and become an idiot. It doesn't matter if you become an idiot, don't die, you must not die. Luo Bing is fine, except that his body cannot use spatial abilities for a short period of time. His recovery is no different from normal now. Go back. Luo Bing moved the time hand and used the last time ability today. Tick-tock. There were ripples in the air like ripples rolled up on a lake. Luo Bing disappeared again under Sky's unbelievable gaze. Try it. I think you seem to owe me an apology. Sky took off his apron proudly, took out the tableware and handed it to Luo Bing, and winked at Luo Bing. Don't dare, Luo Bing refused decisively. I tried my space ability and found that everything was normal, so I was relieved. Even if it was 2 hours, he didn't want to lose it. Not solid. Hey, it took me 2 hours to make it, and I burned a bag on my mouth just to try the dish. BD, what do you mean, you don't trust me so much? Sky was very aggrieved. He worked so hard to cook a table of dishes for one person, but his hot face stuck to his cold butt. This feeling of loss is indescribable. It's because you tried the food, so I didn't dare. Luo Bing shrugged and looked at Sky curiously. What do you mean? Are you despising me? The little beauty got angry and put down the table and chopsticks, her chest getting bigger with anger. Luo Bing frowned, ignoring Sky's petulant temper, walked over, put his hand on the little beauty's head, and looked up and down, left and right. What are you doing? Sky's voice became smaller. Take off your pants and let me see if you have a tail, Luo Bing said, subconsciously touching the zipper of Sky's pants. Stinking rogue. Don't do this. Too soon. I. Sky held Luo Bing's big hand and blushed with shame. Although she also wanted to just let the bad guy in front of her go, but the girl's restraint still made her push and shove subconsciously. If you want to refuse, you are welcome. Basically, men who understand have mastered the perfect way to solve problems. Just say some kind words, be gentle, and basically it's done. Unfortunately, Luo Bing is still a child. Don't get me wrong, I really just want to see if you have a tail, Luo Bing said seriously. Are you sick? Sky had already closed his eyes, and when he heard this, he rolled his eyes speechlessly, and looked at Luo Bing with a black line on his face. Aren't you an alien? Sky said speechlessly. What? Luo Bing was stunned for a moment. It's not me, I was about to say, I suspect you might be an alien. Sky, trust my judgment, I promise, you're 50% alien. Sky was completely speechless. I believe you are a ghost. You took the wrong medicine today, and your head won't have a fever, right? Luo Bing choked on this. How can I hear this after I go back to the file? Is this time kidding him? Inhuman, Luo Bing said suddenly. Hey! Sky frowned. You may be a member of the Inhumans, by the way, you may not have awakening your own super ability. Luo Bing seemed to grasp a certain point and said with great certainty. Hey! Sky tilted his head with a cute expression. Asterisk.
If you're enjoying the story so far and want to hear the next parts, don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And if you'd like me to continue the series, drop a comment below letting me know. Your feedback and support keep these audiobooks going strong. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.